I've been tossed overboard.
I'll have to bill you extra for my time.
Welcome to the show. You look incredible, like a dessert that owns a yacht.
That's exactly the vibe I was going for. You know, sweet but slightly out of your tax bracket.
Mission accomplished.
Gold on my neck, gold on my hand. Purple with the stripes, that's the walk of a man. Sidewalk shining, city lights humming. Every step I take, they know a boss is coming. Blazing the whip, gotta vanquish the needs. My kingdom for some poppy seeds, yo.
Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThATuMBRELLAgUy. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me, or I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me, or I'm a man.
She on the timeline, typing like a toxin. Gossip in the coffee, lies in her pocket. He in a cheap suit, briefcase, cheap grin. Thinking bar exam means he gon' always win. They filed and fumble, every case crumble. Judge side eye, watching every word tumble. Perjury perfume, they wear it like cologne. Tryna burn a kingdom from a glass stone home. You get sued, then you lose, then you do it again. Same script, same scam, you just repress in. You toss mud, spread names, think the truth won't bite. But the record, don't forget you, it's in black and white. You get sued, then you lose, then you do it again. Whole world taking notes every time you pretend. You toss mud, spread names, think the truth won't bend.
The cycle that you love gon' be your end.
He whisper, I'm the Lord, like that's holy armor. But every filing reading like a bad soap opera. She pointing at the mirror saying, look, that's a monster. But the face look back and it sure look conscious. Mirror on the live stream claiming they the wounded. Timeline receipts, every live time stamp zoomed in. You swing at a critic, think he just a guy online. Now your false words sitting in a sworn headline. Lose and you do it again. Same script, same scam, you just repress in. You toss mud, spread names, think the truth won't bite. But the record, don't forget you, it's in black and white. You get sued and you lose and you do it again. Whole world taking notes every time you pretend. You toss mud, spread names, think the truth won't bend.
The cycle that you love gon' be your end.
How many dockets? How many dots? How many wins end up as costs? How many victims you invent overnight? How many times can you lie on mic? You get sued and you lose and you do it again. Same script, same scam, you just repress in. You toss mud, spread names, think the truth won't bite. But the record, don't forget you, it's in black and white. You get sued and you lose and you do it again. Whole world taking notes every time you pretend. You toss mud, spread names, think the truth won't bend. Last page of your story say, this is the end.
What's up, folks? How's it going today? Man, the last few days have just gone insane. There's so much stuff.
On multiple fronts. We got Laura Owens is popping off all over the place. Something crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, that podcast dropped.
Yeah,
and it was awesome.
I saw that. It was pretty good.
1 and 2.
I got the first. I got to watch the second part.
The second one's even better than the first. It is It's so good. Let me tell you how good it is. It's so good. I talked to Clayton today, and I don't think he would mind if I tell you what he said about the podcast and how good it is. He said, this story, I'm so sick of it because he lived it, that I don't ever want to hear about it again. And I never listened to anything about it. And I listened to the first episode and I couldn't believe I want to listen to this podcast.
That says a lot, actually.
Yes, it does. And I know how he feels because I kind of feel the same way. Like, what could I possibly learn? I will tell you what, I learned stuff in the second episode that I never knew. Shocking stuff I never knew.
Check it out. I haven't gotten there yet. I had enough time because I wanted to pay attention. I could just put it on, but if I can't pay attention, and then with the Hale stuff, my Lord, we've had a flood. Not only did we have, of course, we've talked about the appeal. We still have to go through all of that because there's a lot of it. We had, of course, the Judge Bolito stuff that we talked about last night, which was a great stream. If you missed it, and we went through 30-something pages. What was 34 pages, which was amazing.
Pages.
That's crazy. I don't think that's ever happened before.
I don't think we've ever done that. No, but we did it. We said we were going to do it, and we did it.
And we've had entries into the bankruptcy, which I figure we'll talk about both. There was one with Hales. Hales actually put in a pretty good one that informed the bankruptcy court about everything that's happened, which is quite interesting. Plus, we talked some about some of the stuff that was being asked for yesterday. I think that goes as a total conversation. On top of that, too, we have more stuff on the Travis front. Apparently with the 911 over fireworks, apparently that didn't stop everything. See, John Cook and Lynette Preston made it very clear that they were going to try to poison the well when it came to Travis and the minor that was there. And they did. They absolutely tried to. So Travis talked to the lady, the mom, and I want to play that. And again, that's not, just to make this clear, that's not for a drama issue. What that is these people are spreading some horrible accusations. They're like, oh, why is Travis around this minor? The kid has he has autism. You can tell, and it's good to have some type of somebody that will spend time, will properly teach you things. And really just
why is the
treat you
chat
like
saying there are two different kids? What two different?
Well, there's two kids out there. Yeah. So they were talking about calling the.
Oh,
they were talking
Levi.
About calling,
it's okay. Levi does. Clayton does.
Yeah.
Clayton, the one on the video.
Yeah.
Not.
So they were talking about calling for Levi. So they were talking about calling for Clayton and then calling about Levi. But they were talking about here. Let me see if I've got the quotes handy. If I do, I'll show you. But John Cook and Lynette Preston were threatening calls about, oh, you know what? We're gonna tell them. Essentially, you had Lynette Preston. This was in the 2L chats. I mean, this is all drama bullshit. Them just trying to. They're targeting kids. Lena at the trading post. I skipped this. I pulled it up for about half a second the other day, and I was like, nah, I don't want to because it has a name on it. And I thought, well, if I redact it, people will still know who it's about because I can only redact so much stuff on here. If it says at the trading post, still people would know. But you see, like, oh, well, I love her. She's so great. When she realizes what he's putting her son involved in, she'll put a stop to it. Like he's not getting him involved in anything, They said.
What does she mean by that?
He spends
first of all, wait a minute.
This is Levi.
I'm getting confused. Is she speaking of Levi in this post?
Yes. Yeah. Well,
so the boys are not related. No, wait, they are related. Chat, you are so killing me right
but
now.
What they were, the weird thing about when she was talking about it in the chat, you had people bringing up Levi, and you had them bringing up Clayton as well. But I believe when her statements came up, and they were talking about this as a whole, I believe the way the chat flow went that this was a discussion about Levi. But I can't 100% definitively, you know how their chats are, man.
Well, the majority of the chat says, no, the kids are not related. They're different. They're from different families. Levi is the Trading Post, belongs to the Trading Post.
Yeah. But they for some reason, I don't know how they got on the subject of both kids. That's what I don't.
Yeah, I wonder because I had assumed this was about the kid that was on the video.
Yeah, I did until I went to post something about it, and here's another one too. So John Cook did the same thing. You can see them coordinate, John Cook and Lynette Preston. Here's John Cook also. It was not in the kids from the Trading Post. I know who the kid is. So he's talking about the kid, you can see him talking about two kids here. See, Lynette's talking about one kid, and then you have another kid, because this was not a kid from the Trading Post. You see, that's what I was like, I don't understand this at first. And somebody was like, they're actually talking about two kids. I was like,
okay, yeah. So we know that Clayton was at the firecracker video.
Yeah.
And I guess Levi was on a more recent video. So
they're trying to poison the well, period, in Otter Creek. And her thing, what she calls people. And what's really funny about this, or what's really interesting about this, while this is going on, she uploaded a bunch of items for sale the other day, and in it there was a newborn pic, let's say. I think that's the best way to go. In that, there was a post about that essentially is pointing out the hypocrisy. This is a person that calls people PDF files if they were to bring up anything with a kid, or it's collateral damage, and yet she's posting newborns, which is okay. But she posts about this, and she says on that, what, essentially, since I accidentally uploaded that, I'm calling the police and CPS. Wait, what? What are you going to call them for?
I know why she would call them.
Ugh.
I know why, because it's to further the narrative that she's under constant attack of being accused of things, and it is her way to keep them off of her case, to say, look at what is being done to me now. Look at all these terrible rumors and things that are happening. This is why every time you get a call, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake. That's why she's calling them.
It's just so nuts, though. I mean, look at this post. Looks like I had accidentally hit a pic that should have not been on the internet. This pic has been taken down, and no one has the right or permission to copy or post or reuse that picture in any way, shape, or form. Now, let me note something on this. Two things on that. First of all, you put it out on the internet, it's there. Second of all, now I am in no way, shape, or form advocating for people to use people's kids' pics. I don't. If you put it up as if you're noting, hey, look at what this person did. As a matter of fact, people have done that, and I don't really see the problem in that, considering this is, it's pointing out what the hell is she doing, But if people are just posting it 100 freaking times for whatever, I think that's different. You know what I mean? But for her to say, I uploaded it, and, it's so bizarre. She's like, that's private. It's actually not private. It's very much not private. You made it not private. That is a part of being a limited purpose public figure. It is something that we all end up dealing with. It's not a fun part of it sometimes either. But it was an accident, not to be used to destroy the child's life. What? To use to destroy the child's life? You put them up in a sales page. What happened? If people missed this, let me just make it clear where this all came over. I think I'm gonna have a raider in a second.
I heard that.
Yeah, she's at the very top. I heard her open the door. Hey, what's it?
What?
Hey, come here. Hey, are you playing a game with me tonight? Hey, come here. Are you playing this game with me tonight?
Yes, I can't wait.
Are we playing Resident Evil tonight?
Yes.
Yep. You get to stay up late and everything. It drops at 11 p.m. tonight. So it's like a holiday in the house. What a night indeed. That's right. Come here. Give me a hug, though. You better go rest up and be ready for it, okay?
I'm always ready.
Well, I hear you, but you better go do you better be ready for it. Be really good if you want to play all night. All right, close my door. Love you.
Let me go.
Yeah, it's like a holiday. I even got them ahead for homeschool stuff just so we could play Resident Evil, take a day off like it's a holiday.
That's cool.
Yeah. But let me see. Let me pull up her posts here. So she posts just an army of items for sale, which comes up, it's part of the bankruptcy discussion anyway, but she posts, give me 1 minute. I'm clicking into it. Usually I just show it from the outside, but I'm doing it this way because the address of the place is over on the Facebook, which, you can't avoid showing it on the side, but still, you can see where she posts all these pictures, right? And in the middle of these pictures is a newborn picture, and people were like, what the heck? I mean, it was strange because it's the middle of a sale, and people were like, wait, is this the person that calls people, terrible things, and yet put up an item for sale mess? But again, pointing out the hypocrisy. So she's like, this was posted in the post about bags I have for sale. I accidentally touched a pic I did not realize I had touched. That's terrible phrasing, by the way. I touched a pic I had not touched. I thought, by the way, she said she lost all of her old pictures. All of them. Everything was lost. Yeah, she said they were on old devices. Everything's lost.
Oh, yeah, right.
Does that mean that these devices actually
where'd she get that one if it's a newborn picture?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, but hey, which happens to the best of us. Yeah, and the rest of us too, right? Right, Lynette? Stuff happens to the best of us indeed. And then there's, the rest of us. And I accidentally posted a birth pic of my child. A friend noticed it, called me immediately, and in horror and of my accidentally posting it, it was removed. Well, my stalker has been informed of it and is calling me a PDF. Yeah, he didn't call you a PDF. Lord. Every time, look, now she wants to be actually, I was called this thing.
This is classic Darvo.
Mm-hmm.
What is the post that he put up? I didn't see it.
I'll have to go back in a minute. I'll show you in just a second.
Okay.
When we finish it, I'll pull it up. Because of it, so I'm contacting law enforcement and CPS to notify them of what happened as to stop his lies in their tracks.
Yep. See, it's setting up the narrative. It's bolstering her story. It's making it so that anytime anybody ever reports her for anything, they just ignore it.
Well, they apparently don't need an excuse to do that.
Well, that's true.
I mean, just honestly, they'll do nothing.
But it's interesting to watch it that she's actively lobbying CPS, and I don't think you're supposed to do that, but she's actively lobbying them and has this relationship with them to ensure that they don't believe anybody who calls. Is that safe?
No, it's actually an indictment of them too. This is the post.
Sure is.
Calls everyone. This calls everyone a PDF file and post unclothed pics. Absolutely disgusting. See, that's pointing out hypocrisy. It's like, hey, how can you call people that? Or if you believed that too, if you absolutely believed that people were those things, then and that would be terrible. So I am not fundraising using my child. Actually, you do fundraise using your child. You have quite a bit. In fact, you were even talking about rebranding with your turtle thing for a while. Remember? It was the kid's name. I'm not saying with the picture there, but saying that you don't fundraise with the kid is not true. Not true at all. It's absolutely not true.
Yeah, it's not. She's done that a ton.
or anything else. I am selling things for the rescue, to care for the animals, period. Those who follow this trash and believe it, all I can say is shame on you. You need God. Yeah, absolutely. Don't believe her when she calls people PDF files. That's exactly right. I agree. Bravo, Lynette. Bravo for setting that straight. I swear. Yeah. Meanwhile, and she's put up all these sales posts. And meanwhile, again, as was noted, there were 2 filings that came in with the bankruptcy. Now, we talked about one of them. I do want to briefly hit on a couple of those things because I think, it ties into this. I mean, meanwhile, while she's doing all of that, she's getting subpoena sent in, and that, give me one second. So you had the notice of subpoena. Like I said, we have 2 items that came in with that. The first one, the notice of subpoena, which we did talk about some, which again, it is subpoenas to produce documents for JP Morgan Chase Bank. And with that, we find out that they're not just looking into her and shared items with, let's see. Here's the subpoena thing. Give me a second. If people don't, some people didn't understand like how subpoenas work, so you actually have a compliance paper. And again, we won't go through the whole thing on this, but it pretty much, it goes through and it's telling you, hey, as far as this stuff is concerned, you better, you better listen to it. You better actually pay attention. If you're commanded to produce materials or, you're having any kind of inspections or anything, how that works. But at the same time, I mean, she's not going to get around it. And she thinks that, again, there's not a problem, but it links into it's a shell thing as well. The question is, like, she's out here selling all this stuff right now, right? How exactly does she have proof that money's being used any other way? She's raising money and she's saying all this money is for use for turtles. But I can almost guarantee that the money, if you're running a business, that isn't necessarily an issue. Like for me with YouTube, right? That's my primary thing. So it goes to me, it's coming to me because I'm going to be taxed on it anyway. I'm not filing any kind of different taxation, you know what I mean? So it's not really that big of an issue there. But with somebody that's going in and they're saying I have a 501c3, it has some kind of a different distinction from me while I'm in bankruptcy, even though the thing belongs to me. So I'm selling off all these items. Yeah. And they ask for all types of documents, by the way.
Oh yeah, they ask for everything.
Yeah.
This is what you call an anal exam, a financial anal exam.
Yep. When they go through documents there, what is a document? I mean, look at that there. When you get down to it, it's like, well, what if it was printed? If it was printed, written by hand, it's contracts, agreements, communications, correspondence, telegrams, telex, memorandum. God, recording tapes, memorandum notes, summaries, notes, memorandum or reviews of telephone conversations, summaries or records of personal conversations, statements of witnesses. So you can see, like, document. Yeah, you could get into a lot of stuff. It basically means everything and the kitchen sink, and when they're getting into it, I have a feeling they're going to want to be talking to some people too, about money. You can see the way that it's written out, the way that this is going to go. Absolutely. But it notes for 1 minute. It goes through scope of production. Let me pull this up here too. 1 minute. Like I said, I'm moving decently quickly through these because we've talked about, but I think they tie into that subject quite a bit. This is something she should be paying attention to instead of the other.
Mm-hmm.
But scope of production, it tells like, hey, how the things come up. If you have, if you want to claim privilege, this is what you have to do. And documents, though, for production. All documents evidencing accounts as broadly defined above, titled either jointly or individually. So that would mean with John Cook too. Just a note to the following persons or entities at any time from July 1st, 2021 through the present. So that would be with LMNOP, and it's a shell thing. So when they're out there selling items and they're saying, hey, you know, these things, they 100%, they're being utilized for something different. Typically, you wouldn't have this, typically this would have never come up in her life. You know, she could have rolled through.
Sure.
I honestly, after she had Fish and Wildlife, I don't see them ever bothering her ever, but she asked for this. She asked them to get involved in her
Yeah.
life. So, I mean,
She asked them to audit all of this stuff.
nobody, here's the ugly thing in that
Do you
is,
think he told her that this was going to happen?
no.
When you
I'm-
were talking to her, did you
No.
get to ask her that?
Actually, Tina had talked to her about what the bankruptcy would entail, and none of this was what she thought the bankruptcy would entail,
Mm-hmm.
So,
Wow.
yeah, indeed. I mean, isn't
That
that,
seems malpractice-y.
yeah, but at the same time, this is a person that, unless they report you and that hit actually works with something like the bar,
Mhm.
then how would they really retaliate? They have nothing. All the money that they raised is probably going to get sucked out by the bankruptcy court. It's probably
Mhm.
going to be eaten up. They're going to lose all property and stuff. So really, what's left? I mean, what do they have? But
That's a good question.
I mean, really, they're screwed here, and I think they understand.
What do they have? Well, I do think they have 2 water heaters. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. They had to list those on the
Wait, will they
bankruptcy.
take the
Never
toilet?
mind.
Will they take the toilets?
Will they take the toilets?
That's mine. Do they take one toilet for John and leave one? Oh man, John inherits a toilet. There's a joke in there somewhere, right?
Probably.
A John.
Didn't they septic boy? Wasn't that what he called him?
Oh my God. There's a joke somewhere in there. But all documents evidencing accounts, the LNP is a signatory or authorized representative. All signature cards for accounts identified for request 1. All documents evidencing any and all deposits and withdrawals from July 1st, 2021 to present. Account ledger itemizing everything on that. Basically, digital images, rather, of all checks written on there, return checks, withdrawal slips, any other documents that evidence. I mean, again, this is the state crawling up your patootie, I mean,
Mhm.
it's not something I would wish on anyone. But
No, me either.
they asked for it, and the other page, the continuation of that. So anything involving removal of money from July 1st, 2021 to present, and disposition of the funds for all accounts identified in request 1. For each return check, identify the name of the account holder, the account number, financial institution in which the check was deposited, the digital images of all deposit slips, that would be front and back, and the corresponding deposit checks, front and back. Again, from I'm just going to say 2021, so I don't have to say all that over. All documents evidencing any wire transfers made from any of the accounts identified, including but not limited to the amount of the transfer and an identification of the transferee of the funds. That would be the name of the account holder and financial institution. Relevant time periods, again, 2021 to present. All documents evidencing any wire transfers made to any of the accounts identified in request 1. So again, anything going out, anything coming in. That's what they're asking for. Everything. That would be PayPal. That would be Cash App, as she has listed on there.
GoFundMe's.
Yep. And it's going to be interesting if she's holding money somewhere else. Again, the question's going to come up, and one of the things they're looking at, they're not just looking at that money there that they're talking about raising, but they're wondering, somebody raised a lot of money in her name, and they're trying to see what money actually ended up in her accounts, if she has any of it, if she was given any of it, and if somebody's holding that money, that's a problem too. It wasn't reported. None of that income was reported.
If someone's holding it, that opens their bank records to inspection with the anal probe from the federal government. Good luck. Have fun.
And if somebody,
That's why I don't raise money for people. I don't raise money for people in my name. I'll help you with the fundraiser in your name, that goes to your bank account. None of the money is ever going to go through my hands. That's just dumb.
Yeah, indeed. Well, that's indeed correct. And I mean, they've done everything they can to hide the fact that, but all documents pertaining to open and closed investments, a security, of course, I don't think they have anybody. You never know, You never know. I mean, I doubt they have a Roth IRA or anything, but I mean, maybe
it seems unlikely, but you don't, who knows?
Yeah. All documents. Well, it also brings up, remember when they were talking about putting the money in a trust account for the kid?
Oh, yeah.
So they can't
they ever did that.
No, but they can't, since that is a legal custodian, the guardian there, that they can check that and find out if that ever happened. But, you just eliminate everything. Make sure nothing actually happened with that. All loan applications, loan agreements, guarantees, personal financing statements. They are personal financing, so they'll have some of those for sure. Business financing statements, they should have some of that stuff probably. Federal income tax returns, loan history reports, complete loan files, and complete copies of all loan files in which the persons or entities listed in request one are identified as borrower or co-borrower. So any loan filings, where they're talking about one of the things they couldn't get a straight answer on was the current domicile, or the prior domicile, like what it was worth, how all of that came together. So that's where you would find that out too. You'd find it out with loan paperwork and everything else. But when you say, again, when it talks about, the point in it is they want everything. And there's a couple of other sentences on that too. Now, with that, there was another filing that came in. Now, this one was really interesting in the fact, this is such a strange case, It's such a strange thing.
It is strange.
I've never seen a bankruptcy.
There's a lot of strange things in this case, though. To be fair,
yeah,
the strangeness is off the charts.
Well, have you ever seen a bankrupt? Well, I guess with Laura Owens, but before all of this,
I had never ever seen a bankruptcy, and then all of a sudden, it's in both cases I'm covering.
Exactly.
Isn't that weird?
Well, I've never seen one where people are trying to get out of, the consequences of. There's some strange thing, like Laura Owens. The stuff she did is insane, and this is equally insane.
It is.
And here you have Hales actually dipping in and letting them know about some. I mean, I was like, wow, this is kind of crazy. Let me check something real fast. I'm gonna make sure. I think there's an address.
The gall that it takes to sit there and tell, statements that contradict your previous statements under oath in federal bankruptcy court is just mind-blowing.
It's unreal.
If you guys haven't heard the audio of Laura Owens' bankruptcy hearing and the questioning she went through, it is crazy. It's on a channel called Schnitzel Ninja, and it'll blow your mind.
I think we're going to get some of that with this too. I don't see how they go in and, they tell the truth about everything, because ultimately, God, some of the stuff they're counting on. I'm redacting a couple of addresses real fast, folks. Apologies. I'm making sure that there's no accounts in here as well. Just real quick, making sure like no bank account or something weird pops up in there.
And yeah, and by the way, as a disclaimer, while Tug's doing that, make sure you don't call anybody, you don't contact anybody, you don't ever contact anybody we talk about. You don't call CPS, you don't do any of that. You don't contact anybody, you don't talk to anybody. We're just talking amongst ourselves here.
It doesn't help.
It doesn't.
Whether do I find saying that to be distressing? I find most things dealing with CPS to be distressing. So I think that's yeah. I forgot the signs are mentioned in here too, so I had to redact where they're ARPist claims.
And by the way, and not to mention, if you do ever contact anybody in these cases, the downside is they will just drag you into it, and you'll end up in court with these weirdos. So don't do it. It's just there's no point.
Well, and apparently, so according to them, now again, I don't know if this is true, but according to them, the CPS is supposed to, keep a stranglehold on those reports. They have been telling people what's in them. They've been telling names. They've been talking out of school.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one other thing I want to note that I don't think we'll hit this today, but I do want to show you something real fast today, too. So, Lisa filed in Fed 2. All right. Now, all right, whatever. You figure there would be. But the funny thing about it is when they're complaining about, Jeremy Hale said he's going to keep us locked up in court forever. They added the transcripts to his actual live stream. Now, first of all, you can't evidence that way anyway. That is inappropriate. There's no confirmation that that's real. They just randomly put in a transcript, right? But in the transcript, it has Jeremy talking, and this will be something. I said I'm not going to live stream tomorrow, but man, I feel weird if I don't live stream tomorrow. So I don't know how long I'll live stream tomorrow, but I can't see myself missing. But look at these kind of statements. These people, I know it's here. Let me blow that up a little bit.
Yeah, it's small. I'm going to try and. I'll blow up my screen here. Okay, there we go.
There.
Now I can
see
still,
I've got the document pulled, and I'll go through and pull the whole thing. There's 58 pages of it, but this is the kind of stuff they added for the judge. All right. When they're saying he said this or that. Well, he also said these people have maliciously inserted themselves in our lives. And now they think because the magistrate has made the recommendation to dismiss that somehow they're going to be they're going to be out of our lives. No, not by any stretch of the imagination. And I'll share this very, very clearly. Fed 2 was just the beginning. It was the beginning of a master plan. These freaks and fools and fraudsters and felons now will have me in their lives for the rest of their pathetic lives. So when you go through, he didn't just say I'm going to be in there.
The full context went in?
Yeah, it's all in there.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to go through and I want to read that just, not tonight because it's way too much page work, but I do. I do want to read that because it is so funny. I cannot believe these idiots put that in. By the way, appreciate almost 2,900 of you so far here. This will be interesting too. If you did not realize, by the way, tomorrow, or really starting at 11 p.m. tonight, it is a holiday. Did you realize that, Megan?
No.
Yes, tonight, actually, on my PlayStation, it has a countdown. and exactly, I can see it right across from me now, and exactly 4
funny.
hours, 2 minutes, and I can't see the seconds.
You're so obsessed. It's so funny.
Oh my God, I love Resident. Again.
And I've never, did it start as a game or as a movie? Because I know there's a bunch of movies.
Games.
So it was a game.
Yeah.
Did you first play it as a game?
Yeah, Umbrella Guy. You know that kind of.
Yeah, I
have a
know the
tattoo.
Umbrella
Yeah.
Corporation. I knew that was where the whole thing
Yeah.
came from. I
But
just
yeah,
had
I played it
never.
as the first one I
Yeah.
actually played was Resident Evil 2, which it came out on the PlayStation, and the sound design. If you go back, I mean, it was you got to think about how like Nintendo games and everything, they worked at the time. Now it's blocky, the graphics are muddy, but at the time you're like, oh my god! But the sound design was so horrifying. The game Doom really peaked horror gaming. That was the first one to really encompass like horrifying. You were always peeking around corners, wondering, but you'd run fast. This was slow movement. You never knew what you were going to run into, and it birthed a little empire. And those games are amazing. This game, I feel it. It's a holiday in my house. It really is. I'm not even kidding. I'm telling you. We did extra schoolwork last weekend to make up because the kids are not doing. They slept.
Fun.
I was like, kids, you want to sleep today so you can stay up tonight? We'll start playing at 11 o'clock. I slept part of the day away. I took 2 naps in the day, so I'm awake. Oh, it's so good.
Just Jay says Tug chose Resident Evil over lunch with me. Well, that wasn't much of a choice, Jay. Lunch with you?
Lunch with you? What? What the shit?
What?
It'd probably take me to like a potluck. You know how I feel about those. I do not participate in potluck ever. I don't.
It's like I don't trust those Baptists.
No potluck. Like
potlucks.
When you go to we'll read this in a second, but I want to make this point. When you go to work, you wouldn't trust most of those people to like drive your car home or anything, but you're gonna eat what they cook. Some of them maybe, but the other ones. There was a lady that found out. I treated her. As a therapist, right? And she mentally snapped over this. I guess the best without getting into diagnosis or anything, but she snapped. All right. She found out her husband was cheating on her with a secretary, and she took food and ground up fine glass, like to almost powder, put it in potluck, and fed it to everybody. Yeah, and it caused
Was
some
anybody
problems.
terribly harmed?
It hurt some people. I mean, eating glass is not good for you.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
That could cause like internal bleeding and stuff.
Oh yeah. So she
Did she go to jail?
No, she snapped, and it really did. She it wasn't like a fake thing, and it wasn't one of those temporary. Oh no, it broke
so they
her.
like sent her to the loony bin.
They sent her. No, she's in community housing forever. She's in your community. Like people, when you have community housing, some people, and again, I'm not trying to disparage anyone in saying this, but you don't know what those people are there for. Some of them are the nicest people ever, but they mix them with other people. Because when if you can't stand trial, and they need to put you somewhere, they might put you away, like in in places like you see in the movies. But a lot of times what you end up in is community housing for the rest. Yeah, so they're part of the 1% that and for one of the sad things about that. Do what?
Are they supervised?
Well,
oh no.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
a no.
so they
That's
have
a no.
well, there's laws in there, like the law states, yes, you have people like workers that are there, but you can't lock the people in because it's a safety issue. So you have runners all that. That's really, they have a term for it, but I just call them runners. I call people up, I'd be like, we got a runner again. It sounds like the Running Man or something.
Yeah.
But you would all the time. You'd have somebody bust out, and you can't.
Well, those group homes they have in foster care, for instance, they lose kids all the time. It's shocking how many times they lose them.
You can't put cameras inside of the homes because that's illegal. You can't monitor people within their own homes like that, even with it. Now you can put a camera like on the door or something, or the doorbell, so you can see somebody go. But it just, oh God. Some of the stories, I'll tell you crazy. Remind me, I'll tell you a crazy one if we have time at the end of this.
Okay.
A real fun one. I'll tell you about a knife one. The knife was, it's so crazy. Yeah.
Well, what's funny is that I've heard that glass story before, but I always forget the details, and it always makes me go, oh, what?
Yeah, it's so crazy.
It is
God.
crazy. 'Cause I just, the idea of someone doing that is terrifying.
Oh yeah, that's what I like. I'm never. You know what was really funny is while I was
No potlucks for Tug.
while she was there, they let her bake cookies and she brought them to me as the therapist, which was very nice.
What?
I ain't eating those fucking cookies. I was like, you're not letting her give those cookies to anybody, are you? You know, I was like, you know.
Why would they let her do that? Didn't they know why she was there?
No, a lot of no. You've got the floor. I'll call them floor techs, the people that are just there, minimum wage, employees. They don't have access to your records.
Oh no!
Yeah, so you break
that's
down
like
what it
basic
is, but they turn
information that
over
maybe
so
people
quickly.
should know. Like, keep this one out of the kitchen, okay?
But they turn over so quickly that
oh my god,
there's always 2 people in training, out of 6 people,
bad.
always. Yeah, it's a terrifying setup, but
it's amazing that the society is still, sort of working and hasn't collapsed entirely.
oh man, it's so much nut. But anyway, let's read this wonderful thing and then we can ramble all about it. So here's a complaint that comes in from Jeremy Hales. Now this, again, it is about Lynette Preston. You can see all of the wonderful names there. Again, this is in the bankruptcy to know,
Yeah, don't get confused. This is not Fed 1 or Fed 2 or state court. This is federal bankruptcy court.
I mean, it's wild. You can see it, there, by the way.
Yeah,
so you can see the deal, just to make it clear, because I appreciate people questioning that too. If some people question, they're like, "Hey," and I do agree. Like the kid discussion before, I wasn't clear in that, and it's confusing as hell. With Travis and the kid thing. So bravo that people clarify stuff. Well, again, it goes through we always have jurisdiction and venue. We're going to skip over that. But if you're interested, you can freeze it on there. Of course, the parties. The parties, defendant, again, that's going to be LMNOP. She ends up filing Chapter 7. Did you realize the Chapter 7 filing was in July now? It's been that long. July 8th, 2025.
Well,
Yeah.
it did. I mean, in one sense, it did get her what she wanted, which was massive delay.
Mhm.
It's going to be a year in July. I'm sure this won't be over by this coming July.
It also, I was thinking about this last night after our discussion about Bolitho. Bolitho wants these cases off his docket, right? It makes him look at them forever. So, yeah, it put it on the docket there. And I think in some ways that I think, well, I don't know. Maybe they're not smart enough to think this, but it does create this effect where he's like, oh, shit, I want this gone. Because he's got this reminder where they have to do, have to do updates periodically on this. And he's like, man, this thing's going to be stuck on my docket for an extra year, because that's really what we're looking at. There's no way that this thing leaves from July to July. There is no way that this thing is off their docket by July. They are not going to finish that freaking bankruptcy up. It's going to be 5 months just figuring out land and other questions.
Yup.
Then they got all the money looking at it.
I'm actually surprised that Laura Owen's parents' bankruptcy is like wrapping up. Their house is going up for auction. I'm surprised that happened as fast as it did.
It's awful, man. What a horrible turnout. What a horrible. I mean, again, I'm not making excuses for those parents because I've seen they're enabling the mother for sure.
I feel sorry for her dad, though.
Well,
I do.
He's financially enabled this person for years. And we saw the text messages to the earlier people. At the same time, man, your kid, I don't know. But anyway, the bankruptcy filing. So in connection with the bankruptcy filing, defendant executed and filed schedules. Oh, look at all of those wonderful schedules. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J, together with statement of financial affairs. A SOFA. That's interesting. If I made acronyms, they would be cool. Like SOFA. They would be. You would have like 2 of them that went together. They would be like Sofa King. You would, you know. You know the joke on that, right? Sofa king, cool. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, say the word sofa king
Sofa
and
king.
cool.
Sofa king cool. So fucking cool. Oh, got it.
Exactly. That would be. That's an old like.
I'm so slow.
Oh, I saw that on like the Aqua Teen Hunger Force back in the day. Oh, got a Raider coming. Hey, girl.
Sneaky now, wait.
Huh? Yeah, you're sneaky. I heard you open that door though. That door. That's why I never oil the hedges. Because that thing's like and gives you away. It's like a pterodactyl. Come here,
You're a pterodactyl.
I'm a pterodactyl.
You're a pterodactyl.
Hey, are you gonna do your little rage pig sound?
Just for this.
Oh. Okay, stop. When she gets upset, I call it that her rage pig. She makes this awful noise like that. All right,
I don't sound like a rage pig.
Give me a hug. Hey, you gotta go upstairs. Go. Hey. Go upstairs, for real. You're crazy. You're being crazy.
You sound like a pterodactyl, though.
I understand, but go upstairs, for real. Love you.
That sounds like a pterodactyl.
I do sometimes. Yeah. So just like the door. Love you. Close my door.
Love you.
Close that door. Oh yeah, she's so mad at me. She's like, I'm not a rage pig. Okay. There we go. So SOFA, defendant signed the above schedules and SOFA under penalty of perjury, declaring the information contained therein was true and correct. Now, at the 341 meeting of creditors that was conducted on December 22nd, 2025, defendant reaffirmed under oath the accuracy and completeness of the schedules. We've seen all the schedules, by the way. If you're wondering what that is, all the paperwork that we look through, that's the schedules. Okay. So everything that she's filled out, we've read over. That's what they're referring to.
Mm-hmm.
And now the allegations common to all accounts. This is where it starts to get kind of interesting because you'll be like, I kind of recognize some of this. Hales is a resident of Ohio who built his career around his passion through social media, including without limitation, the Facebook, the YouTubes, the TikToks, the Instagram, and other platforms. My grandmother calls them the ticky tacks. One of my step grandmas, the last one, the only one that's around still. She's like, "That's the tick. You watch the ticky tacks?" I'm like, "What's the what?" with the current YouTube, the subscription fan base of over 700K people across the world for his YouTube channel, What the Hales. People who subscribe to the plaintiff's social media platform often pay monthly fees to plaintiff for premium access to plaintiff's social media platform, which is an open video diary of plaintiff's life. You want to read some?
Sure. Let me get on the right screen. I was making a thumbnail. All right, here we go. Plaintiff has expended and continues to expend substantial time, money, and resources into acquiring subscribers, providing ongoing programs, and maintaining relationships and goodwill with them. Since at least 2020 to date, defendant has been a viewer of plaintiff's social media platforms,
which she tries to deny, by the way.
But then also admits at other times, like,
yeah,
because she's on record in the deposition admitting it.
Yeah.
On or about February 20th, 2023, defendant made certain requests, demands of plaintiff, and plaintiff declined these requests. By the way, if anybody here is new or you know someone who wants to get into this case, this is a great night to do it because this is the story from the beginning in a succinct package.
Yeah. And it's being added to a brand new, because it's being added to a brand new thing. Why is this, by the way, if you're curious about that? It's because she's trying to file off anytime she's gotten in trouble. You know, she's trying to say, I can just file away all of that money that I'm in trouble for, or future money, potentially. She's like, I can file that away too.
Mm-hmm. Beginning on or about May 1st, 2023, defendant maliciously began threatening to do injury to plaintiff's reputation with intent thereby to extort a pecuniary advantage for herself. Oh, I noticed you gave me the page with the word pecuniary, by the way. That's not a mistake.
No.
Beginning
Never.
Beginning on or about May 1st, defendant made multiple false statements of fact concerning plaintiff to third parties. Defendant published these false defamatory statements about plaintiff on various social media platforms. On or about May 1st of 2023, plaintiff went to Ohio with the intention to remain there until the fall of 2023, only returning occasionally to his home in Florida for town hall meetings which occur monthly. In May of 2023, defendant wrote many double-sided road signs and placed these signs around the roads surrounding plaintiff's property in Levy County, Florida. These signs falsely stated, Jeremy Hales are up to my daughter, Jeremy Hales has to go, what the Hales, Jeremy Hales, Ohio ARPist, no Ohio ARPists in Levy County, stop Jeremy Hales need to go, no child ARPists in Levy Co.
That's crazy, man. Like going back and looking at all
Hey,
this
hey,
stuff.
ho, ho, Jeremy Hales has to go. I mean, very
That's what they were
poetic
going with.
stuff.
Yeah.
Very poetic. Stop Jeremy Hales, no ARPists in Levy Co. After learning of these actions by,
That's my page.
this is
Get
your
off my
page.
Get off my page.
Get off my page.
What you doing? Good Lord.
Sorry, I got all excited.
I know. Actually, it's nice to have a breakdown of this stuff. And the reason what they're noting with all of this is that she has maliciously done things to him. So as a creditor, he's not just in this because she owed him some money. She's trying to, again, get out of any potential consequence. I'm not saying, there's been a few consequences so far, and maybe there will be other ones. There could potentially be some big ones. And he's in here saying, you can't discharge that. Again, that is just standard under bankruptcy law too. If you look up bankruptcy law, look at, anyone, I would say that anybody out there, just ask, can I do something maliciously with intent and then write it off in bankruptcy if I lose in court, if I defame someone?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to find the answer to that. It's no.
But she thinks that she can.
Yeah,
she does. Her bankruptcy attorneys and her other attorney, from what I've heard, we've heard them talk about this stuff. We haven't heard the bankruptcy attorney talk live, but it's been discussed. She's discussed it with other people. Let's say they've told her that she's going to be able to write all this stuff off. It's not a big deal. So she's going to lose potentially her property and other items, but at the end of the day, no muss, no fuss, because you get out, it's for the greater good for you.
Mm-hmm.
That also says that they're afraid they're going to lose, like what that tells you. They think that Fed 1 has gone really bad. But after learning of these actions by the defendant on or about May 23rd, 2023, by the way, if you're wondering too, look at how long this has gone on.
This is crazy.
Yeah. And, it's escalated to the point that it's just absolutely insane. They've brought in people and they've accused this man of like SA and all kinds of other just horrible things. And
it's been years of this.
They got felon involved. It's, oh God, just so much mess. But plaintiff hires an attorney who sends a cease and desist letter to defendant and a third party. That would be Miss Cook, by the way. Miss Cook. Yeah. Are you and Miss Cook living together? That is an error, by the way, but it is a funny error.
It is funny. Somebody asked the other day, has anybody ever seen any divorce records for her and John Cook? That's a very good question. She keeps saying they're divorced, but is that true?
Yeah.
Anybody ever actually seen it? I've never seen any. I'm not saying I don't believe it or anything, but it's just kind of interesting. Just an interesting question. Like, no, I haven't. With all the research I've done, I've never seen any.
Well, it's strange too that she accuses him of pretty heinous stuff. And again, in the conversation that she had with me, in that first part, that first conversation portion, she noted that Lisa had found out why she divorced and was using it. So it's apparently supposed to be something, horrendous, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I know the reason. She's made some statements before that are pretty nasty, let's just say, and as we've said before, we're not accusing Cook of anything, but if she's supposed to be a truth teller and stuff, why doesn't the ecosystem find that to be problematic? But anyway, so Miss Cook and Miss Preston were told, quote, "Your unlawful defamatory statements directed to Jeremy Hales on social media platform constitutes libel under Florida law. Cease and desist publishing all defamatory statements. It has come to our attention that you posted defamatory statements regarding Jeremy Hales on various web pages, including, but not limited to, Otter Creek Friends and Neighbors." That's gone, by the way. Yeah. That's one of those that's ghosted, I believe. Isn't it? Or,
Otter Creek Friends and Neighbors. Yeah, I do believe that she got rid of that at some point.
I'm looking real quick. Let me just see. Otter Creek Friends and Neighbors. If they're hers, they have been ghosted. So that's what I'm curious about. I can't remember what group was hers, that she deleted. But she did indeed ghost, well, more than one of them, let's just say. But Otter Creek Friends and Neighbors. Otter Creek Politics. Isn't it interesting, by the way, that sometimes it's about politics? She likes to say, "Oh, he came after me because it depends." The other day, she was trying to say, well, she was getting confused, you could tell, because she was like, "Well, it was when they first laid eyes on my baby that they were doing it, but also it was politics." And I was like, "Well, which one is it? Which one is he going with today?" The heart of Otter Creek. It's a Shell Thing Inc., as well as other social media platforms. We demand that you immediately cease and desist your unlawful defamation of Mr. Jeremy Hales, of George, of What the Hales, and all other variations, including all misspellings and euphemisms such as YouTubers, neighbors, etc. You know how she likes to say, "my stalkers."
Yeah.
I mean, that's her favorite these days. Immediately remove and delete all postings related to Mr. Hales and his interest, and that you provide us with written assurance within 10 days that you will cease and desist from further libel directed to our clients. Now, the reason that they do that, by the way, if you don't know, they have to. That is, that's the stepping stone to lawsuit. You ask people to comply with you, to stop. And if they don't stop, well, then you can carry it further. But they're lawfully following through. And it did give them, again, if you go back and look at live streams from that time, it was pretty wild because they were going all over the place, all over the line. They were using all types of sock puppet accounts, which in a conversation to Shara, you have confirmation that John Cook was indeed using sock puppet accounts. He talks about using other accounts, to defame Jeremy Hales. So, and putting up numbers to harass and all of this other craziness. But despite knowing the falsity of her statements, defendant used her defamatory statements to attempt to persuade plaintiff's customers to stop supporting plaintiff. The statements by defendant were false, unprivileged, and concerned matters that harmed plaintiff in his professional, business, and personal reputation. What's awesome about this too is there's no way that she could go in, and no matter how Fed 1 would fall, she can't conclude Fed 1 positively for sure because it's all locked up in the bankruptcy. So there's no way to really argue this stuff. I mean, does she want to have the trial right now? Okay, cool. Argue about it. But defendant knew the statements were false at the time they were made or acted with reckless disregard for their truth or falsity. Right there. That's where you're getting into malicious intent. That's you need that, by the way. Again, if people have never looked up limited purpose or just public figures, any type of public figure, that's what you need. So defendant communicated these statements orally or online to third parties, constituting slander under applicable state law. Defendant made slanderous statements intentionally, not accidentally or negligently. You want this bit?
Yep. Defendant acted with the subjective intent to injure plaintiff or with knowledge that injury was substantially certain to occur. Defendant's conduct was malicious in that it was wrongful, intentional, without just cause or excuse, and undertaken with specific intent to harm the plaintiff. As a direct and proximate result of the defendant's conduct, plaintiff suffered damages including but not limited to loss of reputation, lost income or business opportunities, emotional distress, costs incurred to mitigate reputational harm. On or about August 15th, 2023, plaintiff filed an action against defendant in Ohio to request an injunction and restraining order. In November of 2023, the Ohio court issued 2-year renewable restraining order injunctions against defendant for stalking plaintiff and against a third party, John Cook, who is also a creditor. A copy of the restraining order and injunctions are attached as Exhibit A and Exhibit B. To date, those restraining orders injunctions have not stopped defendant from continuing her false and defamatory acts against the plaintiff.
That is true, by the way. She talks about plaintiff all the time.
All the time. On March 4th, 2024, plaintiff filed an action in federal district court against defendant and a third party alleging defamation, stalking, extortion, blackmail, and tortious interference with advantageous business relationships. On June 18th, 2025, plaintiff filed a second amended complaint in federal district court for damages and injunctive relief against defendant and several other parties alleging malicious prosecution and civil conspiracy.
So count 1, non-dischargeability under. This is where it gets interesting. So, we're talking about, can we get rid of this stuff or not? So count 1, non-dischargeability under 11 U.S.C. 523A6. Plaintiff realleges and incorporates everything we just read. Let's just say it that way. Section 523A6 accepts from discharge any debt, quote, for willful and malicious injury by the debtor to another entity or to the property of another entity. I mean, that's straight up. Again, you look at all of the stuff that has happened, you have protective orders involved. So regardless of how anything else lays out, the protective order is pretty difficult to ignore in association with everything else. And with her trying to discharge all of this and saying, this is just debt. It's like, no, this is debt or potential debt incurred from willful, malicious injury by you. So sorry about your luck. Defendant's action as set forth above constitute an intentional tort causing direct injury to plaintiff. Defendant's actions were both willful and malicious. I mean, that again, very important there. Plaintiff holds a claim against defendant arising from this conduct, whether reduced to judgment or not. Hey, can you hold this down for 1 second?
Yeah, sure. All right, let's see here, chat. How you doing tonight, by the way? This, the Laura Owens crap is getting so out of control. She managed to get a harassment order against a YouTuber in Arizona. I can't even believe she got it. It's popping off all over the place for everything. And it is really weird that both cases that I've been looking at closely for the last 2 years have ended up with both people involved trying to go to bankruptcy court and declare bankruptcy to get out of judgments for similar things, actually. It's weird. It's very weird. I'm just reading the chat here. So yeah, tomorrow at 1 p.m. on my channel, by the way, I'm going to have the podcaster Stephanie Young from the Love Trapped podcast. I'm going to have her on and interview her. And that's going to be a lot of fun. That was the thumbnail that I'm working on. Yes.
kids
What
were so
happened?
funny.
What they do?
The way they were yelling, I was like, oh my God. It sounds like there was a real need, right? So I was like, what is it? What is it? Did you charge your your controller for the game tonight? I was like, I'm in the middle of a stream. I thought one of you was hurt or something, the way y'all were screaming. Sorry, just looking out for you.
Oh, that's cute. Well, to be fair, they know this is a big deal, and they probably were
Trying
like
to be
having
nice.
anxiety.
No,
They're having
but-
anxiety about
they're
know.
ready to play, man. They love them. I mean, they've grown up with these, those games. Like it's, it was funny. We were going through all the games that are loaded into the PS, the PS5 there, and I think 90% of them are all horror games. So it's pretty funny. Okay, and we never buy like a game, because they're expensive on release. They're way too high, but. Resident Evils are the exception. So anyway, they're excited that too. Oh, we get to play a new one instead of waiting 3 months.
That's cute.
So plaintiff holds a claim, whether reduced to judgment or not. So wherefore, plaintiff respectfully requests the court A, determine defendant's debts to plaintiff are non-dischargeable pursuant to 11 U.S.C. 523 A6. That's very important there. Liquidate the amount of damages or alternatively determine non-dischargeability of any judgment entered by a non-bankruptcy court. There you go. So liquidating the amount of damage, or so they give it one or the other. Award plaintiff's costs and attorney's fees to the extent permitted by law, and grant such other and further relief as the court deems just and proper. I mean, that's very fair. Again, they pulled a nasty little sneak tactic that has been shot down many times in other courts. Like, you can just search the idea, not just that it's dischargeable. There was a ruling where a guy didn't realize that somebody was trying to do this, right? And it was a bankruptcy court allowed it because he didn't realize, like, he was listed as a creditor, period. He had no idea that this stuff was going on. They snuck in a bankruptcy. So he ends up running up against it. And, these people are, of course, snide. It ends up in a fight. And guess what? They end up shooting down that ruling because, of course, number one, they didn't inform the creditor. That's a problem in and of itself. But also, they ruled that, sorry about your luck, we can't discharge this kind of debt.
Jeez.
Yeah. And what a mess. What a lot of money, too. So count 2. Objection to discharge under 11 U.S.C. 727A.
Now, this is my favorite part. This is the part that gets
This is
spicy.
where it gets interesting.
This is what I've been looking for.
So plaintiff realleges and incorporates all the stuff that we saw before, again, every time. At the time of filing, defendant held a legal and or equitable interest in certain assets, which were required to be disclosed under 11 U.S.C. 521 and in the official bankruptcy form, such as inter alia, her flea market business, assets operated under a lease. Yep. See, this is the thing. when the
She has a freaking business she didn't list.
Well, also the antis, they're like, oh, Jeremy Hales, he's looking at all he's a creditor, dude. Well, they brought him in. She owes him money. She may owe him a large amounts of money, and she's out there selling off commodities that she's not telling anyone about. Like you said, she didn't list the entire business. That's crazy, isn't it?
This is very similar to what Laura Owens did. She just got, and that's why it's so funny that this is all happening. It's so similar. She just got, questioned by the Department of Justice attorney for not listing for her LLCs that she claimed in a bunch of other places under oath that she owns. And she's sitting there going, no, well, I never really, they're my parents. I'm just the face. Like, but wait, you said you were the CEO.
Yeah, It's funny too. Like, I wonder how their parents feel about being thrown under the bus to the point that they're losing everything.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they've changed their mind about her a little bit.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Her father is so sick, though, that who knows? Her
Yeah.
dad is sick. So, you know, whatever he thinks, I'm not sure that his mind is working, you know, like it's
But
sad.
mom seems
But
to be
her mom
part
is
of the
his,
problem.
I think that she's delusional just like her daughter, and she is under the same impression. She believes everything that her daughter tells her. We learned more about that in the podcast today too, about Jan and how Jan responded to Clayton when he called her, and it was just shocking that she just agreed with Laura with everything. Well, you haven't given her a chance. I think it's terrible you haven't given her a chance. Like, wait a minute, ma'am, your daughter is saying she's going to have an abortion if I date her, but she won't have one if I don't. That's not normal. And her mother just kept saying, but she's a great girl and you haven't given her a chance.
You know, why would somebody? You know, but again, you'd have to be pretty loony to adopt
well,
that.
But and both of them are under the same delusion that that's an okay way to find a date. I don't know, like extortion.
Well, false accusations seem to be the norm. Did you see? So I like watching a civil rights lawyer. You know, his YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
He does a good job. And there was a man that he was in Walmart. There was a woman she had a kid in her lap. And she looked like she was going to lose the kid, like drop them. So he tries to help her balance. The exchange takes a couple of seconds. She thanks him. He goes about he goes about his day, buys medication, all of that. She afterwards, even though it was friendly interaction, like I said, he tries to help her. She contacts the police and says that a man tried to steal her child, and said that there was a struggle and all of this. He gets arrested. And spends 47 days in jail. Then you find out the prosecutors that were involved, there was a video of it that would have exonerated the guy. But during the grand jury, they, quote unquote, didn't play the tape because they couldn't get it to work. So they withheld it from the grand jury, and they tried to withhold it from the lawyers in court.
Wow.
Yeah. So he spends 45 days in jail. And then you find out this lady has done this before. She's in fact gotten money, a payday, because she's alleged something about someone before. And the reason I bring that up is because what you find out about false accusers is typically when we find out about it, it's not their first rodeo. We're running into this is a kind of a newer phenomena that we're drilling down into and finding. We're finding professional false accusers.
Yep, serial perpetrators of fraud.
And I mean, some of them build business off. I mean, Laura, there's something wrong with her. Like, she's loony as hell, which is not an excuse for what she does. But, you know, with some of these ecosystem weirdos, these anti-Halers, some of these build business models off of it. It's not just a mental insufficiency in some way. It's something much, much worse.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
They note the flea market here too. They note with that you had the business. She didn't list jewelry, which is a big deal. We've talked about. In fact, in her last her sales stuff, she once again has her hands decked out with rings. Look, check this out. Check this out. I took one of the pictures from it. I thought it would work for this. So here's one of the still pics. Just saying, these are things that she has not reported. You can see right there. You know, what's weird is these are new rings. I don't recognize some of them.
Uh-huh.
So she's not only got, and I mean, when you're looking at them, again, value, well, I don't know, but that's not the point. You're supposed to report all this stuff. So she continually goes out. She can't claim that stuff, by the way, it's a shell thing. Like, how would her jewelry belong to that? She can't claim that it's John Cook. Well, Miss Cooks, I guess maybe she can claim it's Miss Cooks.
Maybe it's Miss Cooks. Yeah, whoever that is.
But I mean, it's she did try to say, "Oh, I've set aside all this stuff. It was for my daughter." That won't work. That won't work. You don't get to claim. You can claim a small portion of items, but and she claims that. Yeah, she had silver items, gold items. I mean, with the price of that, God knows how much money in merchandise and stuff that she has connected to this and this right here.
Yeah, who knows?
I mean, I've seen, again, just with when you're talking about rings, it's like this. I got a bracelet, and I've had it for years. It's one of those ugly gold nugget bracelets. You remember those that were back in the 80s? You remember that ugly gold nugget thing? I gotten one, and it was like $100 and something, right? Now, under gold weight, it's worth about $5,000, I think.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I was watching this thing on YouTube like yesterday, just a short or something of a guy he buys like dollar silver plated candlesticks at Goodwill and tears the silver off of them.
Yeah.
And it was like $70 of silver on a candlestick that he got for $1.99.
It's wild.
But I can't figure out, where do you take that to turn it into money? It's just scraps of silver, Like
you can go to a scrapper.
sheets.
Yeah, you can go. I mean, if you got if it's removed from it, you can take it to anywhere from most jewelers will take it, pawn shops. You want to find a place that gives a good exchange rate, though, because some places will give you a terrible exchange rate. A few of them will take a few dollars off. If you find a good one, they'll take off a few dollars per, but some of them really rack you up there. But yeah, I mean, gold got so high that they were taking their very expensive watches, like Rolexes and stuff. And some of them, depending on they were worth just as much scrapped these days. Like some of the APs and stuff where they won't move, because that bubble popped on those, they're worth more scrapped. That's kind of crazy.
That is crazy.
And also, she didn't note donations due her. That would be per her testimony from Lisa Lee, but currently held by Lisa Lee and other third parties. Right here, this is going to become an issue. Lisa Lee, you're fucked here, Lisa. You got a problem there. Because, how do you skirt this? If you're holding the money for Lynette Preston, she didn't report it. You're going to have to turn it over. And if you don't have all those funds, if you're going to play the game where you said, oh, well, I completed this or that, you're going to have to show how much money, Lynette Preston, again, we have recording of Lynette Preston 100% saying, I don't know how much money was brought in. Lisa would never tell me. In fact, she said it was for my own benefit. That sounds like her thinking about either scamming you or hiding it from a court that comes up later. One or the other, maybe both. Who knows?
Maybe both.
Yeah, but I mean, with that, I mean, it's going to run it over. They're not going to be happy with the, I raised blah, blah, blah amount of money, but I decided to break it down into 3 things. And once I did one thing, I'm entitled to all no, that's still Lynette Preston's money. They're going to find that out the hard way. We told them this 1,000,000 times. And again, what they're not conceptualizing is they're not talking to their social media audience anymore. Now they're talking to a court, and they're talking to people that, again, they get paid by what they recover. So they're going to want to recover a lot more funding.
Yeah, they get quite a bit. What was the percentage?
40%.
40%. Huge.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big amount there. So these assets were concealed by the defendant. Oh, wait. Did you want to? Is this your page?
Oh,
yeah,
maybe.
You want it?
Yeah. Okay. Right. Which number are we on?
40.
40. These assets were concealed by the defendant, who omitted them from the schedules and SOFA.
That's bad.
The concealing of these assets, and this is the same thing Laura did. The concealing of these assets was material because they were property of the estate under 11 USC 541B, had value, and C, affected the administration of the bankruptcy estate and the rights of the creditors. Hey, you know what else she didn't put on there? I wish they had caught this. The riding lawnmower that was on her is on her property.
Her pew-pew she has strapped to her belt.
Oh, yeah, they're weapons.
I mean, she's got
Which
that.
Those are worth money, and so is that the John Deere or whatever, the riding lawnmower.
They're going to try to play it belongs to. I want to know. These are people, you know, that are up to their gills in debt. How are they getting anything else? You know,
I can't afford a riding lawnmower, and we need one. They're so expensive.
Yeah. I would. I would. I'd like to have a riding lawnmower myself. I don't have one. Actually, I've had where I've been sick. You know, I've had to actually have somebody come and cut my. Well, I hate that, man.
We don't have a freaking snowblower anymore, and I'm almost in Canada. You know how much snow we have? I make my children shovel it by hand.
I was about to say, don't you have kids? Don't you have a snowblower?
Yeah. Well, I've got kids. Of course, now they're no good anymore because the ones injured.
Yeah, they're busted up.
They're all busted up. Although my son is capable of shoveling, it just takes him forever. You know, 11-year-olds are not that fast. Where was I? Defendant's
42.
omissions. Where was I? 42. Defendant knew of these assets at the time of the schedules and SOFA were filed. Yep. Despite such knowledge, defendant intentionally omitted these assets from the schedules and SOFA. Defendant's omissions were not the result of a mistake, inadvertence, or confusion, but were made knowingly and fraudulently. Defendant's conduct demonstrates a reckless disregard for the truth. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Wherefore, plaintiff respectfully requests the court enter judgment denying defendant's discharge pursuant to the rule or the law, award plaintiff costs and reasonable attorney's fees where permitted, and grant such other and further relief as the court deems just and proper.
In count 3, this would be our last count on that. And we have the Travis thing too I want to look at. It's only like 6 minutes, not terrible. Count 3, non-dischargeability under 11 USC 727A4A. So again, everything above, remember that, and that's number 46. Section 727A4A provides that a debtor shall be denied a discharge if the debtor knowingly and fraudulently in or in connection with the case made a false oath or account. Whoops, that's not good. Whoopsie. Defendant made statements under oath by signing the schedules and SOFA and testifying at the 341 meeting. Defendant omitted or failed to disclose inter alia her interest in the following: her flea market business, assets operated under a lease with the Chiefland Farmers Flea Market in Chiefland, Florida, her jewelry, her donations due to her per her testimony at the 341 meeting from Lisa Lee, but currently held by Lisa Lee and other third parties. You know, that's a problem there too. If other third parties, they have, remember when they said that Tori keeps up with the books on stuff?
Yes, I do remember that.
Doesn't that open Tori up to this too?
It might.
I mean, you're talking about somebody that, again, they talk about her as if she's the, the accounts manager there. So she supposedly keeps up with all of that stuff. That'd be a curious thing. Some of these, the mod squad, they know a little bit more. I wonder if they'd ever talk about that, I mean, she dumped on them enough. You should hit somebody up in confidence, mod squad, that way.
Yeah.
For real. You know a lot about how these businesses work. They treated you like absolute trash. They tried to burn you down, and well, look at where they are now. Again, maybe that opened their eyes to something. Once people turn on you like that, it oftentimes does open your eyes to how terrible they are. Defendant's omission of assets constitute a false statement under oath. Defendant knew the statements were false when made. Defendant acted with fraudulent intent, or at minimum with reckless indifference to the truth. And the false statements were material as they concern the existence and value of estate assets. Wherefore, the plaintiff respectfully requests that the court enter judgment denying defendant's discharge. Again, that makes sense. Award plaintiff costs and reasonable attorney fees where permitted by law. And I'll hit this last. That's it. Grant such further relief as the court deems just and proper. Now, this is amazing, though, to see on record, because this doesn't just tie her in. This ties in Lisa Lee.
Yeah.
That's a big. And again, they love telling their audiences, you know, oh, everything's gravy. We could do whatever we want. It was our money. They have made so many statements about those funds that it's a problem, you know. What you doing, Willis? I want to pull up
Yep,
this
it is a
thing.
problem.
Well, they were dumb about it. They were very dumb about it. They were going to try to be fraudulent about something. They should have known. What's that thing? Oh, yeah, keep your mouth shut. But they didn't. I got a raider one time. What's up, girl? What you doing?
What?
Come here.
I just want.
You want to give me a hug? Okay. Thank you. Hey, go upstairs, though. We got to finish.
One, because
What?
I'm just seeing how fast I am right now for time. So I
Oh, you want to see that? Yeah.
tomorrow.
It's 84. You want to try it out until our game thing? Yeah. Take it with you if you want to.
Call me when it's.
I will. When we get close, I will. I'll call you. Okay. I'll call you and tell you all about it. All right. I'll be like, come on down here. We got to get ready.
And
Okay.
just go bite my phone just in case
Okay.
someone calls me.
All right. That's good. You and Sissy, be ready. You know, love you.
I'm seeing that chair fall.
Okay. Love you.
Like it.
They fight over this one chair. She's like, I'm getting that chair first. There's two chairs down here, but they like one specific one, you know. They're like, I'm getting it. All right. I'm getting that video real quick.
Yeah, I'm glad, because I tried to start watching it today, but there was so much going on that I didn't get a chance to finish it, so I haven't seen it. This will be my first
It's
true
good. You know,
watching.
and when bringing this up, I actually think this is an important subject, because these people, they are trying to they're making insinuations about Travis. The best way I know how to say that. And these are the kind of things that, well, you know, these people, you know what kind of things they will do to a person. So having a parent come in, again, very respectful when we're talking about this too, you know. Like I said, I'm looking at this because of the craziness, how they've tried to tie it in. And, you know, here you have somebody, they're also essentially, they're asking these people, look, I'm not tied to any of this. This is a person in our community. They're doing good by me and my family. What more do you need? So here we go. Let me make sure everything's on. But yeah, it starts, by the way, this video starts out too. There's more, you know, there's going to be more with this, but this is what we have right now. So
post right now, Levi's outside goofing off. But speaking of Levi, man, there's been some pretty awful, hideous rumors going around, and people are saying different things like, well, like this.
Yeah, see, now that's that post that I showed earlier.
Yeah.
So, but it is pretty awful.
I mean, who is Lynette to involve herself in somebody else's, you know, how they are raising their child, and nothing has happened.
Well, what
you know?
a
Like, what are you
busybody
doing?
piece of
What
trash.
business? There's such a it's crazy.
He wasn't involving. He had a live stream that he was setting over when something was asked about the neighbors. He even told, what was it, Clayton that was there? Yeah, he told him that you don't want to know. You don't want to know it all. So he deflected away from that subject. You know, again, tried to keep that off of there. And out of that, again, they love to attack Travis. They love to to try to take aim at him. And unfortunately, we know how these people are. And I hate it because I'm afraid of. I hope that they can show a better nature, but I've never seen it before. But what I'm afraid of is they didn't get their way here. So they won't just double or triple down. They will escalate. They always seem to escalate. But
put to it, or we need to get some sort of, we need to get it straightened out. So we come up here to Lena right here at the trading post. Everybody say hello to Lena. All right, let me get you set up. All right, Lena. Now, obviously, you have told me some stuff that some individuals have come up here and been telling you. I'm a little crooked there. It's just typical me. And you kind of wanted to set the record straight as to what goes on.
I like the trading post about it, just to know. We always hear about the trading post and everything. So I actually like seeing the trading post here.
Yeah, I've seen it like once, and I feel like it was I think it was when Lynette was selling things there. Remember that?
Yeah.
Selling toys and stuff that we thought she got for Christmas, but I've never seen like this angle, so it is interesting. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's just this it's this mythical place,
Yeah.
So I like seeing it. I like places like that. You find all kinds of crazy stuff in places like this. So
For sure.
we have one in our town and I like them. But anyway.
Well, and from what I understand, they have like consignment, right?
Yeah.
That's
the way
do
I
like
understood
consignment.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
Let everybody know a little bit what you've heard.
Okay, well, first of all, I am Levi's mom. My name is Lena, and you guys probably all know that Levi is 16 and he has autism, and he has formed a bond with Travis a little over a year ago when we very first come into this town. I try to stay out of everything. I know it's a very small town, and people like to talk, and I understand that. But when it comes to my children, then that bothers me.
Exactly.
There was some accusations. Well, I have to say accusations.
Yeah, so he breaks because they have customers. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, you look, everything in here so far, just to know, this is reasonable, right? Hey, I try to stay out of everything, but you're bringing my kids into this.
Yeah, I don't like how upset she sounds. It's upsetting me.
Yeah, well, she definitely, you can tell that it bothers her. Well, it bothers her too because she's talking about her kid having needs. And, it's hard to find. We can lie and pretend that people are nice out there when it's hard to find people that are willing to help out. And it's hard to find people that you're willing to allow near your kids to help out.
Sure.
So it's on both sides of that. And when you find somebody, with a kid that, out of town that has 100 people.
Well, you would think, though, that with what Lynette claims she's been through and how she claims that everyone is, making it so difficult for her with her talking about her and her child, she sure doesn't have problems talking about other people's children, though. It's always with them. It's okay for them to do it, but nobody else. But the weird part about it is when you look at the difference between has anybody seen these other kids in any dangerous situations? No, not that I'm aware of. What is she even talking about? What we have seen, the conditions that she keeps her child in, which are upsetting and disturbing to many people. So, but she, nobody else can talk about, no one's allowed to talk about that, but she can talk about these other kids publicly all she wants. I gotcha.
Well, also, this person is not a public figure in any way, shape, or form. Right. So this is where you have to really watch.
Yeah, she's not. Did you see her posting? Was this woman posting anywhere for people to give her money to help her kid? Nope.
No, her kid just chilled out. They're part of a community there, and they thought it would be kids. I can tell you from my own kids, like, when they come out, and your kids too, when it comes to social media, that's the one cool, my kids like it that I play video games, that I like certain items, they think like nostalgia toys are cool. So I have some of that stuff, and they like that I'm on social media, They think that's
the other thing that really bothers me about this is the insinuation that a neighbor or a friend who's a man can't be a role model to children because it's creepy or weird. Of course, parents are always concerned about their children being in danger. And in these days, you have to be very careful. But
Sure.
that makes all people scared to interact with children, even good people. And that's a real shame because, my husband, when he was growing up, he talks about this man all the time. There was a man in his neighborhood who was a military veteran who would hang out with a lot of the kids. He was an older man, like a grandpa figure, and he would teach them things. He would take them fishing, and they loved him dearly. He even took them to his military base up in Great Lakes and showed them around. And I mean, he was the kind of man that helped the neighborhood kids, especially the ones who didn't have fathers and father figures, learn what it was to be a man.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a really important role that our communities, that people play in your community. When they say it takes a village, right, to raise children, you can't do that if everyone is terrified of everyone else, and not everyone is out to hurt you. And in fact, some people, the vast majority of people that you meet, are good people, and they have a lot to offer. And it would be a real shame if a man like the veteran I'm talking about wasn't allowed to be around the neighborhood children. He saved a bunch of those kids from a lot of trouble.
But also, if she would have gone another way with this, if God knows what a Preston will put in someone's ear. I mean, we hear what she says about people. Like they openly, it's crazy. Like again, the ecosystem 100% affirms that she accuses people. She accuses people all the time. She even accused some of them when she was like having a fallout with them. She was accusing them of damage and more. So, with that, in a 100-person town, you realize, like, in the middle of deep South, that's not irresponsible. That's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
It's very dangerous because, but yeah, when I was a kid, we had this guy. He was a farmer. His name was Mr. Grissom. He used to hire a bunch of us to do stuff. Now he could have easily done stuff on his own if he wanted to, but he'd hire usually 3 or 4 of us. He had all this land. He had 4-wheelers. We'd run around, and like I said, it gave us something to do. And one of my best friend's dads, he owned a junkyard. I tell stories about that place sometimes, but he would allow us to come out and piddle around and goof off, and he gave us somewhere to be, somewhere where we stayed out of trouble, because we can get a lot of trouble.
And there are a lot of men in this world who have an interest in, because civilization has an interest in making sure boys become good men. And it's important to have those men who will interact with your boys, who will interact with those kids and help them and show them the ropes. I mean, not everybody is a weirdo. Most people are good.
Well, I hate that weirdos, that people that are, in my opinion, awful human beings will try to damage any and every one. I think those type of people are horrible, because the type of accusation they're alleging is, again, probably the worst thing you can call a person. And they go to it real fast.
Well, this is it's upsetting. And I can hear the upset in her voice. And it's just, and again, this just shows you how damaging these insinuations can be. And by the way, someone in the chat just said, this just bolsters Jeremy's allegation that it's Lynette who wrote those signs about him. Yeah. Because here we are again with the same insinuation coming right from her.
Dude, she used her kid. With Lisa Lee about it recorded. So I think that if you pull in all this stuff, and you can tell it's her go-to. It is her go-to. She says that, in her own words, her narrative is she said this stuff publicly about John Cook, but she misinterpreted some things. Those things that she wrote to Shara, all those awful things, that wasn't real. That was a misinterpretation of events and statements. Like, okay. But continuing here.
this edition of Narration with Willis, he forgot the microphone inside, so he's talking to himself. But I was just telling you, we didn't want to have that go on my customers right now. All right, we're back. We again, I didn't want to film, like I said, just going to go with customers in here. One thing I wanted to mention real quick, though, is that I meant to say ahead of time is like, Lena knows less about this whole entire situation than I know. And you all know, like, I know very little, just what people get tuned in on. But like I mentioned before, what I use the wrong wording, accusations or insinuates. There's been some stuff going on out here that she wanted to clear up. She called me. She was like very upset about the things that are being said, and she wanted to kind of clear some things up. So I'll kind of throw it back to her and let you kind of go where you left off.
So the first time that it started was the time that you let the kids ride in the back of the truck. They thought that was weird that you were hanging out with kids. But I have to say, that was the first time my kids have ever ridden in the back of a pickup truck ever. Because when we lived in Atlanta, you can't put your kids in the back.
Oh,
every kid should get the chance to ride in the open back of a pickup truck.
That's all we used to say as kids. My God, man. Kids out in the South. That's what it is.
Everywhere.
You know?
All over.
We used to. And when we didn't have it.
They used to let us drive.
Oh, my God. Like,
my dad used to put me on his lap and let me drive.
Oh, yeah. I let my kids do that sometimes. It depends on the area, right? But, oh, God, when we were so that junkyard, my friend, it was in Ridgetop, Tennessee. And we knew there were only 2 cops on their police force. And we knew them. So we did all kinds of crazy stuff. We'd be like, ride in the back of a truck. We would ride on the back of a freaking car. One time with the cops, he was like, I kind of had to pull you all over just to say, maybe you shouldn't do this. He was riding he was riding behind us. He got behind us and the trunk popped open and somebody was inside and they were like, hey, what's up? And other people saw, and he's like, yeah, people might think the kid in the trunk, that might be bad. He's like, but we all laughed about it. But it's normal. It's very normal.
And when we were kids, we got to ride without seatbelts. We were in the back of the Woody wagon in sleeping bags. I mean, God, we had such a better existence than the kids do today, all strapped up in booster seats till they're 16 or whatever. It's absurd, And so, I do. The mom part of me is like safety first, but the child in me is like, God, seatbelts are the worst. When it's safe and you're on a backcountry road. Yeah, and you're not on a highway riding around. Nobody's gonna get hurt riding around in the back of the pickup truck for a few minutes.
It tells you though, when they approach her about that, you think about who's doing it. Lynette Preston and John Cook they don't give a shit about your kids, they don't care. They care about the drama. They care about the ugly and pointing it there. And with this lady, I agree. Travis, with a statement like that, they'll end up making this whole thing more about his statement where, I don't know my bullshit, liar, and yeah, he knows very little about these cases. I'll tell you, because I talked to him on that, but I've asked him, and I'm telling you, like sometimes I'm like, hey, Travis, you know about this? He's like, about what? Like he didn't even know what the bankruptcy filing meant when he got one in the mail. So, but with her, I agree. She doesn't want to know about it. She lives in this town. People gossip, fine, but I'm glad she clarified
this. Truck in Atlanta, okay. But being in the country, I appreciated that because that's how we did when we were kids. Right. So, and they love that.
The kids.
So the kids loved it, and they love Travis because he's very real with them. If I have a problem with Levi, I can call Travis, and Travis can actually straighten him out, like real deal. Like he doesn't pacify the situation. Travis lays it out to him like a man should, and we love that. But anyway,
so that's great. You realize how rare that is, by the way. In life. Yeah.
Right. It is because a lot of men are scared because of accusations of this exact type, and they don't want to. So, and that's unfortunate because a lot of kids are going to miss out on really cool adults who could teach them really cool things and give them just a lot of great advice and wisdom.
What this tells me is that they already knew that this person was okay with the kids being there. So they tried it once and complained about something. Now, after that, they do it again. You know, they try yet again to return to that. And not only did they do that, but they brought it up everywhere on social media. You got a kid with a mask on and goggles, and they end up putting out people that are like, again, with some kid, they put out this person's name, they put out a locale, so a business. They want that again. Is that not doxing? After these people tried to swat her, that kid, by the way, and you know, before, who knows what the other stuff is?
Yeah, it sure seems like doxing to me.
Yeah.
I was told, like, it's kind of weird that Travis spends time with young children. Now, mind you, Levi's 16. Like I said, he's autistic. He needs somebody stable in his life, like Travis, that takes time with him, shows him how to do things. It's just the little things. Me and my husband work all the time, and we don't have the chance to do that as much with Levi. He puts Levi in his videos. Levi loves that because he loves you guys.
He loves
and
all.
he loves to see his name, even if it's written down on the screen or whatever. Levi loves to see his name. And then it was, you know, that they thought it was weird that he's buying Levi stuff. Well, he does buy Levi stuff.
Maybe I give a shout out to Levi on Facebook or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you should.
Just like, hey, shout out to Levi, you know, and that way he can see his name there. Maybe that'll make his day.
And I believe, like, if Travis does great on a video and he gets a little extra money, whatever, he'll kick Levi back a treat, a surprise.
So they're assuming
for his birthday.
Right. So they're basically saying, "Oh, I'm making money off your kid." Basically,
Yes,
they're
yes.
insinuating
and
that.
it's weird that you're hanging out with these young kids, but they don't understand Levi being with you is not only therapeutic, but it gives me a break too, because Levi's with me every day, day in, day out.
You know what's terrible about that? We're just told what the insinuations are. That is 100% the type of insinuation you think, you know, it's not. Why is it weird? Well, that's, you know, what they like to accuse people. And you have to have this person who is never online feels it necessary to come in and explain this.
Right. Which is, it's really wrong that she felt she had to.
It's a
And I do want to
violation.
say, Lena, you have every right to do it if you want to, but you don't need to explain yourself as a mother.
No, but you know what? We appreciate that. If you do hear this, and again, all respect, you know, I'm a parent.
I think she's
myself.
in the chat. I think she's in the
Are you?
chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all respect to you, ma'am. You know, like I said, I'm a kid. You know, I've got kids. I said I'm a kid. I am a kid. I'm old, but I am like a kid too. But no, I've got two.
That is true. I can
Yes.
attest to that.
Yeah.
This man is like a child. That is
Yes.
true.
But I've got two daughters, you know, and I have one of my dear family members has certain needs, requirements, let's just say. You know, she's highly autistic. She's a wonderful person, you know, but she needs people around for socialization. It teaches social norms, and also just to, you know, to have friends. It's so isolating, period. Small towns can be isolating, period, but a child with needs, it can be even more isolating. And then, you know, learning through them. So it's good. And it's good. You know what? It's very good that you care about your kids that way. It shows and you discuss them, but it's appreciated that you come out and note what exactly, you know, is going on there. Because again, these people are trying to ruin this man's reputation with those kind of, and they do. It's very easy for something like that to do harm.
Especially with special needs kids too, sometimes their peers and other children can be cruel and or not be able to relate to them very well. And some adults can be much better and understand them easier, right? And have more patience, more tolerance. And children they have to develop that, you know. So it's very hard for children who have special needs like that to have peers as friends. And it is a really cool thing for adults who have that type of patience and understanding to be a friend when a kid might not have any. That's a real special thing. If you've ever had a child that had trouble making friends or didn't have friends, you would know how awesome it is when somebody comes around and is a real friend.
I'm going to put up a shout out from Levi from Otter Creek. Heard nothing but good things about you, just something nice there. Because again, I understand my own kids, like they crave it. Like anytime when we were doing the leg warmer stuff, oh my God, you have no idea how many times they watch those videos. And they're like, hey, did people like them? And I was like, well, about 10,000
my
people.
kids too. They loved them. My kids loved them. They thought they were hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to do, and they want to be online. They want to be creators. So.
And sometimes I do need a break from him. And I appreciate it. And I know Levi loves him. So I just wanted to smash this. Like, this is nothing indecent about the friendship. It's very wholesome. It's very genuine. And we are very appreciative for Travis and everything that he does with and for Levi. And not only Levi, but Rox as well.
But that's the thing about it is like, they say this stuff and it's like, I just try to encourage kids and try to encourage adults. I have fans from 8 to 80, and that's the whole goal of the channel, change the world one smile at a time. And it's sad that people want to try to make up rumors about somebody who's trying to be a positive influence in the community.
Sabotage, and I don't understand that.
It really is, and I promise you, I don't want to keep you too much longer, but I know that this is going to spin all over the internet. I'm going to play this voicemail that I have. That way you guys can understand the truth behind things. It's just obscene. I try to stay out of as much as I can, as you all know. She knows little about it.
I don't want to be involved in none of that.
She says, keep it on your side of the street.
Right.
So and the next thing you know, it's brought to her attention not only once but twice here recently, and she calls me. She's like, man, this is ludicrous. So she want to set that straight. So I want to say thank you, Lena, for doing that.
You're
for me.
You're welcome, and thank you
for
for everything you do for us and for
that,
Levi. Absolutely.
I wouldn't have asked you to do it, but when you called me, and you're like,
it is very upsetting because like I said, Levi's mentally handicapped. Like. And it bothers me that they would even think that anyway. Right. Well, it's and don't be surprised they'll spin something else out of this because they're all the Milo. Well, I had to get back home, and you guys are probably wondering, what about the voicemail? I'll give you a little clip it, and then I guess you'll hear the rest tomorrow. Deuce.
Second saved message from Michelle Preston. Hey, lady, it's Michelle. Over here, Otter Creek. Just me with the stalker in there.
You with the stalker.
What?
Yeah.
Just you and me with the stalker?
Yeah. I mean, you see that though every time too.
Is that the end of it?
Well, that's not. That's the end of that video. Yeah. I don't know.
Does he play the rest of the message?
No, he hadn't put it up yet. Well, let me make sure.
I thought he did.
No, he hadn't yet. He has not yet. He did the interview, and then he was like, well...
Travis, put the voicemail up, for God's sake. Damn it, Travis. What are you doing to me? I'm all excited to hear them. I just got denied. What the heck?
But people go and support the video for What You Doing, Willis, And let me put the link in.
All right, the chat says he's going to put it up tomorrow.
Okay, that'll be good. I'm so tired of these people, though, doing damage to anyone. It's like we've said with Jeremy Hales. What they try to do is they try to isolate you. They attack everyone out there that's around you. They say terrible things, and it's easier to move away from that person, and it's hard to stand up to that. People they'll use the community. They'll use anything against you in that. Again, that's the one thing I hate about it, because people that don't want to be involved, they'll pull you in anyway. Like I said, I'm trying to be as respectful about this as I can too, because she's not involved. So, this doesn't have anything to do. And I'm glad she went in and she clarified that. And you could tell that it upset her. You could. And you have every right to be upset by something like that now. Every right.
Yep.
Oh, man. These people just annoys me. You cannot. I hated it when I saw, I was saying two screenshots, and I'm glad you did this as well, because they put your name online. You were somebody, they put your name, they put the trading post on there, and they mentioned, oh, they'd be calling you to do this. So I'm glad you did that too. I tried to walk very carefully around that subject. I was like, oh, this lady's name's not out there. If I redact her name, I still can't redact her business,
Yeah.
and people will go and
Yeah.
look for it. So I'm glad. But
Well, I think that the majority of people who are watching what's going down, everybody knows what's up, and
They
everybody
do.
knows who the liar is.
Yeah,
So
but I mean,
I hope at least people are paying attention, and anybody in Otter Creek, because it is such a small town. I have a feeling that Travis has made probably lots of friends, and I doubt that anyone will believe the lies. But it still sucks that it's out there.
You always have to worry that people will, though, that
Yeah.
it does harm. And the thing that the ecosystem needs to understand is it doesn't just harm the person that you're aiming it at. It does harm to all parties. And at the same time, it harms actual victims out there too, because people see false allegations and they're less likely to believe actual issues that need to be addressed. And I mean, there's so much harm that's done by that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, all right, I'm gonna hit super
Well,
chat.
it might be a good time to mention that I believe that any business has the right to refuse service to anybody. Just saying. I'm not sure I would let that person anywhere near me anymore.
I would
Or my
definitely-
business.
Yeah, I would definitely. I don't know. I mean, in a small town like that, I get to. Sometimes you have to deal with people that you don't want.
Yeah, but
to.
it scares me. When you've had somebody making false accusations or insinuating false stuff about your family, your kids, but that's dangerous.
At the same time, they're always looking for a reason to attack somebody. So I'm sure some people treat it like I do on, with people that I don't like online particularly. I try to ghost most of them, and pretend they don't exist. So their business, if they cross my path, that's fine. I do it with a smile, but I'm very aware of the snake too that I'm dealing with. So
Well, I just remember her selling things there. Like, if isn't that's like a business? I'd be scared that she would try to accuse me of something.
I would, yeah. Well, that's the one thing that we have noted, and I hope people do understand, is even the people that are now that collected $100,000 for them and then kept it, by the way. But those people, she accused them of terrible things too, of doing harm to kids and everything. I mean, everybody. It's on the timeline. It becomes the who won't be accused. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of people. That's a very easy go-to. So yeah, if I had a business, God, I'd want a camera around or something. I don't know.
Well, if taking her stuff and selling it for her, I don't know if I would do that. I don't know if I personally would do that. I think I would be very scared to get into any business arrangement with that because of the types of accusations that have already come from her.
I would just log everything carefully. That's the way I
Log
I'd
everything
handle it
carefully and film
yeah, to
all
make
the time.
sure nobody could accuse me of not doing fair and accurate business with them or anything else. Make sure that you're smart, and I guess if you recognize who a person is, you recognize who they are there. But regardless, I'm glad that she came out. I'm glad she clarified that, and she did not let reputational damage be done to a person because they're just trying to be nice and the caring, and it goes. I guess it goes beyond being nice. It goes to some people actually do give a shit, and God, there are not enough of those people in the world. So when you run across Travis is that. I mean, that's been one of his things. You'll notice anytime we've seen him on video, he works. When he was asked to help out with like Lloyd's stuff, he didn't come in. He didn't try to do drama or anything. He just came in and he worked. He moved things. I mean, he's a workhorse. But in that too. There's a lot of stuff that, hey, maybe the kids would learn something from him and be able to go out YouTube online. If you can learn what you're doing, like, it can be a very sustainable business model for people too. You know, in this world, it's the right thing.
That's very valuable. Yeah, valuable information.
All right, I'm gonna super chat. So you out of here?
Yeah, my back is still bothering me, so I'm gonna go lay down on my heating pad like the little old lady I'm becoming.
All right, so have fun with that.
All right.
I'll catch you later. See ya. All right, tomorrow I know I said I wasn't live streaming tomorrow, but I probably will still. It's such an ingrained habit in me. I'll feel weird all day if I don't. You know, I take a couple hours. I'll probably need a break anyway. Sometimes, so I'll probably be here. I'm pretty sure. Even though I said that earlier. Jaguar, thank you. 10 gifted memberships. Kick that off too. Thank you very much, Jaguar. I appreciate you, my friend. Paul, thanks for the 2 there. I sent you info on instrumental accusation. Man, I saw that come in, man. I'll read through that and I'll check it out. The one thing I think, like boiling this stuff down for lay people, it's the simplest way to look at accusers, though. False accusers falsely accuse. And they're not normally limited to one person. They find that it works. Like, again, Laura Owens is a perfect case model. Look she didn't do that one, like with the Clayton Eckert thing. She didn't do it to one person. She did it to multiple people. She falsely accused them. And some people, that's how they get ahead in life. In fact, it can be a very profitable enterprise for some people. And a lot of people, especially the worst of the worst, they do it. You know, personality is definitely a component of that. You can see the personality hallmarks in people. You know, some people are the perfect storm for that. When you look at, again, you know, their personality type, like how they act or react to people, plus they are the perfect storm. But yeah, I'll look that over. Thank you. Max Lab, thanks for the 2. Sent you that document. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's the big freaking Elisa document. I had not looked through all of the secondary stuff. I saw I watched So You Don't Have To. It pulled up the main stuff, but I had not secured the other portion of it yet. By the way, Max Labs again got YouTube channel. You know, working on watch hours. So when he puts up something like a document there, definitely give it a look-see. You know, give him some watch hours there. Watch hours are the hardest thing to accumulate, especially, you know, with shorts. So, you know, give people views for sure if you can. And thank you. Fallen Hero, what's up, man? It's good to see you, friend. As always, as I say a million times, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. And it's great to see you. Appreciate the gift, though, but also just appreciate you, my friend, period. Lorraine, thanks for the 5. Hello, Tug and Megan. What information can you tell us tonight? Well, has it been fun? Were you not entertained and enlightened? Indeed. It's been an interesting one, hasn't it? Huh. There is a birthday afoot. Huh. Well, what does that mean? It's my birthday. Hit me with a tune. Well. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
From both of us to you. Happy birthday. May all your dreams come true. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
We love to have you here. Happy birthday. Here's to another year.
Indeed. You know what? You folks out there, like I said, it's awesome to be able to share all of these hallmarks in your life. Thank you for that too. And I hope you had a really great one. Quinky Dink. Love it. Love the name. Quinky Dink. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. Appreciate you too. Thank you very much. I love that name. I always like those words. Quinky Dink. Puzzle Puzzler. Thanks for the from the beginning. They should have got a tiny home. Yeah, they would have been better off getting a tiny home to be. They could have converted. I saw a shed that Lowe's had. There was a 2-story shed, and it was quite large. It was large enough to probably convert to 3 rooms, and it was under $10K. You would have had to insulate the thing, put in a few things, but you could probably gotten it done for $30K. Turned it into something that's already owned land. Would have probably been much easier. But I mean, again, they did have the money to do the land thing, though. So it's so crazy. And with the bankruptcy, I think we're going to see some really wild stuff come up. Something to bark about. What's up, my friend? Thank you for the 5 giftos. Thank you for the content on your channel too. Like I said, sometimes we need we need a little mouthwash for the brain, as it were. No, we need something positive, and I always like your channel does well with that. So appreciate you, and people should check him out. Cat, what's up, Cat? Thanks for the 5 buck and lug money. Well, thank you. The girls will appreciate that. Now, like I said, you can tell they're excited tonight. They're ready for game time. Angela, what's up? Hey, thank you for your membership. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for that membership. Welcome to Tux Thugs. I appreciate you, though, Angela. You've been here forever. Thank you. Much appreciated. Cynthia, thanks for the 9 months. Welcome to new members of Tux Thugs. Indeed. With gifts, new members, gift memberships. That's amazing. Thank you all. And Just Jay, thanks for the 5. Wait, Elemental Peace selling babies? That's not a good idea. It came up in the list again, and she threw a fit about it when, it was brought up. The reason it was brought up, by the way, people get tired of being called terrible things. And they're like, look, there's hypocrisy. It's just like with Ray. Ray, he was asked before, hey, those horrible videos, that you have people doing terrible things in that you're okay with. If someone you cared about was in that, would you? Well, it's the same thing. There's hypocrisy to it. And she didn't like that. In fact, she pretends that she was called something terrible. It's amazing, isn't it? Angela Quinn at 41 months there. But that said, oh, did you up your membership to the Tuggernauts? Is that what happened with that? I'm not sure. But I can't see. It doesn't tell me when people up. I know you've been here forever. I kept thinking, you've got a membership. So it must be a membership upgrade. Thank you, Angela. And 41 months. It's crazy. Still in the hospital. Slowly recovering from my stroke. It's a long road ahead, but worth it. So behind all this will catch up. Indeed, if you're bored and you want to find out where things are too, we can have a catch up stream one night. You just, when you're setting and you're recuperating, and love to you, we appreciate you. You've been here for a long time, Angela, and we very much appreciate you. So our love to you. You get better. You focus on that. We'll catch you up on it. Not sometime, for sure. Travis, thanks for the 5. Glad you're on tonight, brother. Just had my head shaved into a mullet for my birthday coming up, because I have a white trash redneck birthday without it. Indeed. That's hilarious. How can you party like that if not? When's your birthday, by the way, brother? Let me know. I'm curious what day it's on. L Flock and Lou, thanks for the 22 months. Hey, Mug, I've been on the replay crew for both of you recently, showing love when I can. Well, hey, appreciate you all. Appreciate you if you're on the replay crew, on the live broadcast crew, however you get here. Appreciate you. People have been very supportive of our endeavors, and like I said, it's very much appreciated. It's a crazy ride that has not ended yet. And it won't end for a long time. It's wild. Like I said, the bankruptcy alone, it's going to take a long time. So it's going to be a weird one too. It's going to be a wild ride. Cindy, thank you for that gifted membership. Thank you, Cindy. Much appreciate you too. Thank you very much there. It's good to see you there as well. Winby, thanks for the two. If LMNOP doesn't have a docs requested, what happens? Well, then, like if she doesn't turn that over, what they'll have is they're essentially asking, if you go to your bank account, you can request documents like from your bank. You can request whatever documents they've asked for. So she'll be able to get them. Now, if she doesn't have other documents like write-offs and stuff, then she can't prove. Like the problem that she has, if she's running a 501c3 and she's supposed to keep the paperwork separately for it, she's supposed to file that stuff away, and that's part of the process. So she should know better. So she doesn't have it. She's going to have a problem there. What it's going to do is say, that's why if you're running a company like that, again, when you're claiming that this is a separate part of your funding, you are supposed to keep all the funding separately, all of it. And you're supposed to show legitimate movement of that money, resources, and more. So she'll need to show like the stuff she's selling. Where does some of that come from? I mean, all kinds of stuff. And she is running a business out there. So it's going to be a lot of questions. And she, her problem is that she's not very good on the stand, So we'll see how it goes. Just Jay, thanks for the bomb there. My friends raised money for me to file bankruptcy, and it's not like it. Well, I filed bankruptcy before. Like I said, for real. It's not a fun time. That was a while back. I didn't have a lot. Like I said, I'd sold everything almost. I was dealing with my stepfather. I was dealing with him dying, so I sold off everything I could. I had very little at the time, and it was worth it. It bought him 6 years. I'd do it in a heartbeat yet again, but that made it pretty easy is my point. So this, they have a lot more. If they had filed bankruptcy in, say, 2023, again, there would be no purpose in it, right? But say they had, it'd been a lot easier because you didn't have all this crazy income out there, all these lawsuits. But I mean, it's become complicated, very complicated. Kermit lives. What's up? I love that account, by the way. Thanks for the 8. Does LMNOP have to show proof of life for the turtles? I don't know how far they'll go with all of that. I would hope so. She said something like she has, what was it, 41 turtles? Now, again, that includes small turtles, everything else. So I would hope so, with everything. I would. Hey, girl, come here. You want to, just 1 second. Your mom said it's my birthday. I don't know about numerology, but this has to mean something. I was born 2/26/63. I'm 63 on 2/26/26. means something.
20.
Hey, you wanna help me sing happy birthday?
Yes,
since you
again.
walked down? Yeah.
Again.
You want to take the headphones?
Yeah, I'm always the yellow one, and when I see a yellow player, I don't like this monkey game. You can choose
I
a
see the
color.
game. Yeah. Here, well, do you want to?
That is
I know ads are so annoying. Here,
yeah,
do you
but
want
wait.
You want this?
Yeah.
You ready to help me sing?
Yes.
All right, you ready? Now I can't hear it, so she'll be saying, "You ready? You ready? Here we go."
Happy birthday from both of us to you. Happy birthday. May all your dreams come true. Happy birthday. We love to have you here. Happy birthday. Here's to another year.
Was
That's
that
good?
Well, that was good. Thank you for helping out. Can you say happy birthday too?
Happy birthday to
Yep.
you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear you. Let's just say you, because
We don't.
happy birthday to you.
I was playing my monkey game. You
Yeah.
should actually download it.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
fun.
I saw it. I've seen it before. Remember, I looked at
And you better, and better not hurt your own color.
Okay.
I chose yellow. I'm not holding the yellows.
All right. Well, hey, let me get through this so we don't have a lot of time before our game. So I hope you enjoy that. She's so funny to listen to. She doesn't know this song. She's like, I'll sing along. It'll be awesome. I think it's so cute. Paul, thanks for the 5. John is going to be the Otter Creek equivalent of Oscar the Grouch. Living in he's they're not gonna have a lot left the way this is going. Again, they were asked to just stop. But they get a protective order against them. They're asked to stop. They get violations against them. I mean, again, you look at the escalation. This stuff is nuts. It is. It's nuts. Just Jay, thanks. 5 there. I'm starting to think the anti-Hales are not the friends I thought. I know, it's so sad. Jay tried to join up and they treated him terribly. I feel so terrible for Just Jay. Oh, so awful. Travis, thank you. Dropped 5 gifted memberships there. Thank you, Travis, man. Much appreciate you too, brother. Thank you for that. On top of that, too. Look at that. In this span here, 10 gift us. Thank you, Emmy. I much appreciate you, too. It's great to see you, by the way, too. It's awesome. Look at you both there. 10 gifted memberships. That's awesome. And it stacks them up. And I mean, I love that. I love that about it. Max, thanks for the 2. Glad you got my email. Indeed. And thank you. Like I said, appreciate that. You know, that's the one I had not tracked down yet. I was writing a couple of people, but I had to go live on it. So I'm glad I got sent over. I'll have to, like I said, I want to go over the transcripts itself for a large majority of what they put in. And the reason for it is because they file in a court. They're trying to be like, look, he's saying that he's going to sue us forever. But the context is definitely something. And at the same time, again, the way they add it is so absurd because they're just randomly adding in items and saying, this is true. It's kind of, like I said, it's wild. Cindy, thanks for the 2 for some blue tape. Blue tape, baby. You know, it's funny as I do have some blue tape. When I go get duct tape, I try to buy blue now. It's really funny. Rob, thanks for the 5. In terms of false Travis accusations, 9 out of 10 times those who claim they do. Yeah, I would say it this way, I guess would be better. Those who have been accused and say that they were falsely accused, perhaps they shouldn't accuse others as well. You know, Cook says that he's not a horrible person. That, you know, essentially people that accused him, that was false accusations. And yet the same person is doing it to someone else and he's joining in. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? You'd think someone would learn a lesson, right? Rhea, thanks for the 5. Some snacks for the game-a-thon. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yep, I can feel it. It's coming up at 11. That's an hour and 20 minutes. I'm feeling it. Fallen Hero, thanks for the 5. It's Pokemon Day tomorrow. And the release of Pokemon. Yeah, Fire Red and Leaf Green is coming. Yes, I heard a lot of people talking about that. The oldest, she likes the games there. We thought about getting into the cards. Like I said, now again, I don't mean the insult for people to that, but it is so hard to pull certain cards. It is so much like gambling, you know, and the way that the economy on that now is, you know, with like freaking markups on MSRP on just regular packs. God, it's so crazy. I hate that because Pokemon would be a fun hobby for like a kid going, you know, all the way up through adulthood. You know, could have fun. But man, right now, it's a terrible, it looks like a money pit some days. So, but for games, she loves the games. She plays a lot of them. Has fun with them. Real right. Thanks for the two. Don't eat the sprinkles on those cupcakes. I know, indeed. That's what I'm saying. You definitely don't. Oh, look, it's glittery. No, it's not. William, thanks for the 10. Oh, I forgot to tell this story. I guess I'll have to hold on to it. I had I'll tell it. When I was working in a private company, I'll say, they have housing, and you get all takers. But a guy, I've told people about this guy before, but he would say the most innocuous thing. He would say, are you from a good family? Now, his history was very volatile, though. He was, off his medication, and he would do anything to stay off his medication. What he meant by that was if you came from a bad family, that didn't mean you had bad upbringing. He had a terrible upbringing and was so mistreated and stuff. He had become convinced that his parents were demon possessed. And the last person he had asked that and decided they were from a bad family, he had beaten with a hammer, and he had ended up in, he was not able to stand trial. He was very mentally ill. Well, anyway, I get a call. I'm out. Now, this is when I'm care managing now. It was case management at the time. This is before I become a therapist, I get a call, and there's these brand new house techs. And these house techs, again, that's the entry-level worker that works at a place. One of them says, we think you got a knife. I'm like, well, how did that happen? Everything's supposed to be locked down tight in these places. They don't have a couple of knives for cooking. Like, well, one of the new techs, when they were training, they didn't lock down a drawer. And we think he took a knife. We got one missing, and we think he has it. And I'm like, great. Just great. So I'm at Walmart. I'm pretty sure it's Walmart. I'm with my then pregnant wife. And, this is a dangerous situation. So I asked her, I was like, can you, if I've got to drive out to this place. I'm like, can you call one of our friends and see if they can pick you up? So I can go do this now because, it's really dangerous. Usually I could take somebody. This is a crisis issue. Called, gets arranged, no muss. I don't want her near this, of course. Can't ride up there with me or anything because this could be dangerous. So I go out there, and the gentleman was standing out back. I told him when I pulled up, I was like, give me a couple of towels, I'm going to wrap them on so I don't get cut in this mess. I'm not going to do any knife tricks like, I take the knife from you with a towel, but I won't get cut. So I'm hoping that this happens. But I can't tell if he has a knife. They tell me that they think he has it stuck away in his sock. It's a pretty large kitchen knife that we're looking for. So when I go out, they have this covered back porch. I walk around the building. He's sitting out there, and I introduce. I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" Da da da. I'm like, "Oh man, I've never noticed how nice your shoes are. Can you show him? That looks great." So he holds up one of his shoes. It's the wrong shoe on the thing. He moves it around. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Can I see the other one? He's like, yeah. He sticks his foot up, shows me. Sure enough, I see a big ass knife in his sock. He's like, great. Now, luckily, they kept out the client, and that turned into a pretty horrible ordeal. Now, we end up getting it back. I'm not going to go through all the detail of how. I'll go through that another day. We end up getting it back, but this same guy, I end up having to crisis him, send him to a hospital because, he's so severely mentally ill and just off his medication that we end up crisising him because of, his attempts with violence, because he kept doing some, again, there's the problem that you run into as well. The hospitals will, quote unquote, stabilize. So they'll keep them long enough that the behaviors will stop. So a lot of times what a hospital will do is they'll take them in, they'll dope the crap out of them, and then they will release them doped up within sometimes as many as 3 shifts. That's all they'll keep them in. They'll be like, oh, no behavior is noted. Yeah, it's because you doped them up so high. And you can't do that to a client if they're out. They have the right for refusals. You have rights unless you have if you have somebody that's over your care, then you can go a certain, but they still have a right for refusal and all kinds of things. But when in the hospital, they can force you to do stuff. As a private company, you can't do that. So they do that, they're out, and within a day or two, if there's a problem, the problem manifests again. And it sucks because a lot of people can't handle it. But oh, what a mess. It goes back to what we were talking about before with places like that. Hey, are they staffed? Yeah, but you have most of these places with floor techs. You have within the first 3 months, because it's so grueling, you have about a 70% turnover just in the first 3 months. Sometimes it's higher. So anyway, craziness. Polish Spark, thanks for the 2. Check your mail photo. John Snow, I saw that coming in. John meets the John. Love it. Thank you. AKA the cat lady, thanks to the 5. The Owens house is going up for auction on my birthday. Wow, that's interesting. Ron has the same retirement home available to him and Jen at a reasonable price. No, Laura, though. Indeed. Laura is a terrible person. That's the thing that really gets me, like just the horribleness. C. Poindexter, thanks for 11 months, almost a year of disseminating the drama. Thanks for the laugh track to go with. Indeed. A lot of this, it would be sad and horrible if you didn't have a laugh track to go with it. So I'm glad we could provide that. Rhea Riot, thanks for the 5. My son was at uni, and there was a group called the Christian Union of Nottingham Trent. He told them their acronym t-shirt. Yes, it's the See You Next Tuesdays. I'm surprised we've never seen a band called that, by the way. Oh, look, it's Brad and the See You Next Tuesdays, or something. It's Karen Ann. That would be funny. Adair, thanks for the 5. I have heat, but I'm sure the repairman was wondering what I was listening to. It's a crazy case. I'm sure. With random people here, it's so funny. Also, Adair, thanks for the 2. Thanks to Ray, my Tug merchandise problem is fixed. Yay! Yay, Ray. By the way, Ray, again, love to him. I'm glad. I'm thinking finally, because of people, like I said, people like Ray have helped me a lot because of illness, and I'm starting to feel more stability in my life. I can finally I'm still out of sorts with stuff, but you can tell. I think you can hear it, like everything coming back. It's great. And Ray has played a huge part in that. Oh, tight line. It's good to see you, my friend. I had a great comment, but my keyboard refused to type it because it's ADA protected. Hope it still counts in and of itself. Yes, even if ADA steps in and it takes away your comment, even if there is no comment, that is still a comment in and of itself. And thank you for that comment. It's appreciated. I love your comments. They are awesome. By the way, every time I love them. Thank you. Thanks for 13 months. It's always LP and JC that started the bad neighbor wording. Indeed. When J and G sent cease and desist, they highlighted that they've continually been playing for it. Yeah, well, that's what they do. It's just like stalker. So somebody gets a protective order against them. It's upheld multiple times, but they say that they're being stalked. They give footage of the guy just driving down his frontage to a third party to play online repeatedly, and yet it's crazy, isn't it? I'm my favorites. Hey, oh, Amy's 61st birthday, is it? Well, you know what that means.
Happy birthday!
Day 40. That's
From
it. All of us
to you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
May all your dreams come true. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
We love to have you here. Happy birthday. Here's to another year.
Heck yeah. By the way, I did post under ThATGUY, TADGUY. I put in a shout out to Levi from Otter Creek. Everyone leave a positive hello. And yes, currently 49 comments, 84 likes. So it's rolling up there, you know. He sees that and realizes that's thousands of eyeballs that hit it, you know. It's usually about 10 to 1 for likes. So you're probably rolling up on at least, actually, I'd have to look. I think it's higher than that. I'll have to look, but it's probably higher than that right now, to be honest, because it's nighttime. So, but yeah, thank you. I have my favorites for pointing that out. And I hope you have had a glorious birthday. E. Poindexter, thanks for the 10 there. Aren't normal people supposed to find money in the sofa, not hiding money from the sofa? That's very true. That is a good point, you know. I've never found myself. That almost sounds mentally ill, doesn't it? It's amazing. Craig, thanks for the 20. For Megan's riding lawnmower. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's what we need. We need to fund Megan a riding lawnmower, and I'll keep it here at my house. And I'll cut my grass with it. I'll take pictures of it, you know, and I'll send it to her, and I'll be like, look, Megan, your riding lawnmower cuts grass really well. Wouldn't that be great? That's a great idea. I love it. Love it. Jack's mom, thanks for the 5. I wouldn't take parenting advice from that. Indeed. You know, no LP telling me there. I do the opposite of what she thinks is right. Indeed. You know what's best for your kid. I mean, ultimately, if you trust people, trust is a hard thing to come by. I, as a parent, do not trust a lot of people. I have I could count on one hand the amount of outside family, you know, people that I trust. But when I trust them, I trust them. And when you find somebody like that actually gives a crap, yeah, it's hard. Jack's mom, thanks for the additional 5. Kids with autism have a tough time bonding. That's true too. The other side of that, you know, like formulating and keeping bonds. Yeah. You know, Travis is a rare person that'll live up to that. Indeed. You need somebody that's not going to violate that trust, you know, and be like, I cared yesterday, but I don't anymore, you know. And that's a good point. It is. It's the bonding goes both ways there, for sure. William, thanks for the 5. You can tell she's upset that LP is trying to cause problems between Travis and her kid. You're good, you're safe, mentor isn't easy to find. Indeed. You know, and it's also, they're targeting her kids. Because again, terrible rumors don't just impact the person that they want to hurt. They want to hurt, but they don't care about the collateral when they do that. And the collateral is a child in that too. Because the rumor will engulf them as well. So they need to stop. Yeah, this is good right there. Emmy, thanks for that. Big brother, big sister saved my life at times. Indeed, you know, a good organizations. You can find some good, but the idea it transposes onto to regular people. You're right. That can teach you what you should or shouldn't do and save lives. It very much does. E. Poindexter, thanks for the 5. Laughing at Lynette being a judge of weird bad. That's indeed true too. That is pretty funny. Carol, thanks for the 5 there. It is showing young people how to act and people helping people. Indeed, you know, as she said, it doesn't just help. It gives her some time away. And I understand, like with my kids, I'm around them where I work at home. I do everything at home. I'm around them all the time. And every now and then I need a minute, you know. So I get that. I very much do. You love, but you need your minute too. You know, you have to have that. You have to have moments where you disconnect, you know, from a situation. You're still connected to your kid, but you just got to disconnect from the immediate, you know. Get it? You know, high need. You know, we all need in days, every day, if we can manage it, we need time for ourselves every single day. It's important. Weezy Wills, thanks for the 18 months. Hey, Tug. Hey, everyone. Still alive and kicking. Love my new. Great. I'm glad to see that everything is working out. And yes, don't forget to have fun. Life's too short. Indeed. That's what my days are important with doing that. Why am I getting a call? Give me a second. I need to check something real fast. Everything okay? I'm alive. Like got a call. I'm just making sure everything's good to go. It's late for calls, you know. Okay, thanks to the 5 LPs, 501c3 is even active. This is going to be interesting on the bankruptcy front. Yeah, there's a little IRS issue, you know. Rhea Wright, thanks for the 2 there. Yellow Flash is as excited as you about. Yes, I've actually messaged with him and stuff about it. We've been comparing. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to be on Flashcast lately because of health, right? But Flash, I consider him a good friend. You know, he's a friend that I will take with me going forward, no matter what. It's not like out of sight, out of mind. And yeah, he's been very excited about it too. You know, I love Resident Evil. I always have. So it made a big impact on my life. Weezy Wheels dropped that gifto there. Good. Like I say, great to see you. And thank you, Weezy, helping out other people, giving to them. That is awesome too. Pickle Tank, thanks for the 5. God bless, Miss Lena. Indeed, raising children with disabilities is tough. I raised 2 of them. Lena, respite care is tough to find. And Travis Perfect. Indeed. He's out, he's doing, you know, so you have good action, you can learn skills, you know, and you're out there. Again, grounding social norms is probably one of the most difficult thing with kids with needs, you know, finding a way to teach positive social norms. And see, at one time, I went through my master's degree work, but for PhD work, I found out later on. Again, my stepfather died during that time, and I just didn't go back. But I had about 1.5 years left with practicums. But I was working on ABA, and you know, again, I wouldn't be like a pure ABA. ABA has some problems. Analytical behavioral analysis, it has some problems for sure. But there are good grounded items with ABA, you know, and there are other things that you know, it's like any discipline or approach. You take the good and you throw out the bad. I think that works with so many things. But one of the things that you found with kids, particularly with autism, is this need for modeling, you know. And the modeling can be different things throughout life, but yeah, finding somebody, like was noted before, it's hard for a kid too to connect to somebody as well. So Travis, it's great that he does. Some of it's because he's like a kid himself, you know. I know because I have some of those traits myself. I'm like a kid too. Regular girl, it's good to see you there. Thanks for the 2 there. And again, as someone else stated, that comment, no comment, but it is indeed a comment. And thank you for that. I appreciate it. That is backing. And that is the you know, helping on the channel. It's amazing. What's up, Wheat Toast? My boy, what's going on, Wheat Toast? Wheat Toast, West Coast, baby. Thank you for the gifted membership. Thank you for being here too. Appreciate you. Man, we're down to an hour before my game drops. Travis, thanks for the 5. Birthdays on 3/15. Oh man, getting close, brother. Getting close. Yeah, we'll shut you out when we get to. If you're doing on your birthday, if you're not going to be around, let me know. We'll hit you up before then. I definitely want to give you a birthday song, brother. You know, I appreciate you, my friend, for real. But yeah, I'm gonna be old and riding bulls, drinking, and yes, all at the same time. It's gonna be crazy. You, Texas born and bred. I hear you. I hear you. You know, I'm glad you can take that. Like my body would be like, I ain't doing that, sir. One old Sega guy. What a freaking avatar, by the way. Thanks for the 20 there. I appreciate your compassion. The firm grasp of reality needed when you're a compassionate person. Yeah. Well, like I said, I spent with mental health alone, I spent, let's see, I started one specific job about 2013 through there, but I worked in mental health before that. So I always say 13 years, but it may be more than that because I went from You know, I worked as when I say floor tech, I had that job. It was one of the things that motivated me to go forward and to really look into mental health. You know, I worked with, in our state, they have Clover Bottom. You know, when they deinstitutionalized, Clover Bottom was sued here. They were one of the institutes that, and they needed to be taken away. I know people are like, oh, where'd they go? Well, they were bad. They need to go away. But Clover Bottom, I worked with there. I can't remember how many there are. What is it? Clover Bottom 6 or 5? I can't remember the number anymore. It's been so long. But there were so many people that sued the state of Tennessee from there, and they got a lot of money, and they got set up for life. And I worked with one of the Clover Bottom people, and it was so awful. It was awful. It was awful what those people did to him. I saw him when he came in to a place. And it's one of the reasons I wanted to learn about mental health and stuff, because Clover Bottom, the institute, when anybody's like, we need institutions again, they broke him. They treated that man like an animal so often that he became like an animal. He would hide under beds. It's just awful. But over years, I worked with him for a couple of years, and it was amazing to see what a little bit of compassion and love could do for a human being. It was very awful. But yeah, I mean, that's why you need it. That's why you have to have it. You have to remember people, people, as who is it? Depeche Mode says, people are people. Yeah. Wrangler girl, thanks for the fun. I turned 66 on the 22nd. And I'm a bladed short armor. Yes, indeed. Yeah, yes, indeed. Boom! Happy birthday from all of us to you. Oh, happy birthday, short arms. Make your dreams come true. Yeah, baby. Heck yeah. You always have one of those. I love those. And Travis, thanks to the 2 there as well. It's your bug. Ain't much. Got to buy a beer for a birthday. Hey, brother. You know what? I appreciate you, period. You didn't have to do anything. So you're doing that. That is amazing. And I very much appreciate you, my friend. We just mom. Thank you for the 2 there. That was perfect. Thanks, Buck. I'll tell her birthday song came in. Oh, there she comes. Hey, they said your birthday song was perfect. Yeah. You want to say happy birthday to, there were a couple more people that had birthdays. You want to sing with me? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear people. Happy birthday to you. All right. Hey, turn off the sound on that. Got to turn the sound off on it. You can't play music while we're on here. Because sometimes music. Yeah, but it had music attached to it though. Hey, go upstairs. I'm almost done. We have 1 hour left before our game. Just 1 hour. Oh, I'm going to. Oh, I plan on it. You better pick out like what you know. Hey, do we have any popcorn?
Let me check.
All right, you look and see. Okay, you do a popcorn check. Lorraine, thanks for the 2. Tug, I was very entertained. Are you not entertained? I'm glad. I'm glad you were entertained, by the way. Hey, Cal. We do? All right. Hey, close my door and we'll get some popcorn when I'm done, okay? All right. Cal, thanks for the 2. Birthday lurking. Does that mean it's your birthday, Cal? I'm going to assume it's your birthday, even if it's not. We're going to get somebody else's birthday here because I want happy birthday. Cosplay. From all of us to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. May all your dreams come true. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. We love to have you here. Happy birthday. Here's to another year. Oh man, you know what too? First of all, happy birthdays out there. Second of all, somebody sent me a fake AARP card for Megan with a picture. I'm gonna shoot that over to her right now. That's awesome. Here we go. Hey man, if you can get a discount on anything, by the way, take it. You know, anybody that doesn't take discounts where you can get them, I don't know what's wrong. don't never pass on them. You know, AARP, anything. Rezilla, thanks for 5. Travis does wonders for the kids on motocross circus. The last circuit, I said circuit over the last few decades. Not one class. Indeed, you know, he's an entertainer by nature. You can tell, but he's a hard worker too. Travis, I've talked to him a few times, and I don't know him in person, obviously, so I can't attest to everything about him. But what I get is he's pretty blunt about he very much, he goes out of his way. I'm going to say it this way, I guess. He goes out of his way to make sure that when he conveys details of something, that they are honest. You know, he goes out of his way. And if you want to blame him, by the way, for doing things like, hey, here's a part of a clip, I'll play the rest tomorrow. Yeah, that's I'm sure Hales has probably told us that. I tell him to do. I'm like, man, you know, when something's going on, you make sure that you can address it, you cover your name, you separate things, however, and you know, you help your channel too. You know, you think about that because your channel helps other people as well, like kids out there. And with him separating that phone call, I actually like the way he did that because it kept the interview separate. That's smarter. You know, it keeps it smarter. It doesn't blend everything together. I think that standalone. In fact, I think that would have been good to even at the end of it, just for people that are wanting to even clip and make it short by itself, you know, and that way it's addressed, people see it, so it never has to come up again, you know, because apparently this has come up twice. They've tried this twice, and they don't need to bother the parent anymore. I mean, if there wasn't a real issue, fine. But like I said, and I hope she understands it. Look, here, I guess I want to make one point before we end here. You know, we've got, I think, 1 or 2 more super chats, but I want to note something before we get to the very end of this. You know, when I was talking about them discussing the kid and all of this and how they're going to call and do that, they were bringing this up in a drama session where, again, they had made a false 911 call. They have cameras. They 100%, and they're pretended like at the time, oh man, you know, people are telling them how to harass. Oh, you know what would be great? Point floodlights across the street, blind the people over there. That way they don't have, you know, and again, imagine if they did this. Imagine the people, the collateral damage that happens, I guess. You know, drivers down the street get floodlights in the face. They don't care. But you have all these people that are, you know, that are just in the middle of all this crazy drama. And in the middle of it, they're bringing this up. So they're whipping these people up into a frenzy where they're like, this guy over here, he's bad and dangerous. And he's doing, he was taking super chats and tossing a firework every time he got a super chat. It gives people, you know, it's just like songs or anything else. There's a little more. It's an incentive. You know, he's giving back to people who give. It had nothing to do with the people across the street, but they took that, and he wasn't involved in their drama. So they found a way to make drama. And they brought, because there was a kid around, they didn't just bring up that kid, they brought up other kids. It's crazy. So I'm glad that was brought up, and hopefully it will put it to rest. Although I saw some of the transcript from that night. Some of the transcript has been posted off of that, you know, and props to the people who post them, by the way. But some of the stuff that was noted there is just, it's ugly. It's very ugly. So let me just say. And Lawanda. What's up, Lawanda? Thank you, by the way. Appreciate you, Lawanda. It is great to see you. I always remember you, your avatar. It always sticks with me too. Thank you there. And popcorn money for game night. Indeed. All right. I know Shizzy is live. So I'm going to tell you to go over and raid Shizzy. I know some of you already went over there, which is awesome, by the way. I appreciate all of you that stick around while we go through super chats. I know it takes a hot minute, but it's fun. Tomorrow, I'm guessing we will be live, even though I said we wouldn't, because I can't help myself. This is my way to, I get to laugh at stupid. You know, it's a good time, but I will see you. We'll see, but I appreciate you folks, and we'll see you.